Yes.
Welcome to the Conversations by Ordinary People.
Thank you very much.
So I switched up this setup a little bit. I am tired of that.
Yeah, I usually see that setup in the other podcasts.
The guy that made that board gave me, you know how you see something different online and order something.
Yes.
They give you something
Yeah. Like I would like to know what the idea was.
The idea is
and what
it's
actually
really so
came out.
brilliant, by the way. It's supposed to be. Have you watched the Joe Rogan podcast?
Yeah.
So before he put the curtains, he had a board behind him as well, right? He had the Joe Rogan experience.
The Joe Rogan experience.
With lights on. So the idea was to almost
to like mimic that
something.
Okay.
So the guy is a friend of mine. I had to support, you know how they say it.
Yeah. Yes.
So I gave him a deal and he brought this thing. The lighting things were even on. Then we just
removed them.
It was just very annoying. But now I feel like I'm tired of it.
Right.
But yes, please, thank you for honoring the invitation to come to the podcast.
Thank you very much.
I took interest because I saw you had software engineering in your bio.
Yeah.
And kind of your tweets kept bouncing back on my timeline. So there are people, so with how this podcast works is there are people who ask to come on and there are those I choose. And I feel like I reach out. I think we can have a good conversation.
Oh.
And you are one of those people where I feel like we could have a good conversation.
I'm really honored.
We are here.
Yeah.
So maybe you can just start by introducing yourself.
Okay. My name is Birimumaaso, just Tenyigwa. I usually like using the first and last names. I don't like using Rogers a lot, but people keep on saying that the first and last names are a bit complicated.
Yeah.
So they take Rogers anyway. Yeah. So I am 21 years. Made 21 in January, doing software engineering at Makerere.
Yeah.
Currently in my second year.
Dope.
Yeah. So what do I usually do? Of course, my whole life has now changed into a life of tech because initially, when I was joining campus, I wanted to do civil engineering. So you know that saying that most people at courses say that rejects. Yeah. I can consider myself one, but I love what I'm doing this side now because I actually believe I can say dodged a bullet somehow because
From a broader perspective.
Yeah. Because the way I see myself and the way I carry myself, I don't think I would have been able to handle that. Yeah, so I do software engineering. I want to major in mainly cloud computing, but I think I will make the final decision in my third year.
Yeah.
That's just a few months away anyway. Yeah, so I do a lot of web-related work, web design, straight from the mockups, then to the actual implementation, maintenance. Yeah, I've done a few things here and there, considering just my second year.
Yeah.
But I've been able to work on like 4 projects so far. Yeah, so it has given me a small peek into the industry that I'm actually going to be working in. And it's tough. Time, you have put in a lot of time.
Hours.
Yeah, and there's a saying that goes that, okay, you learn the language, but immediately you finish, you forget it because it makes sense learning, let me say, like Python, and you are only going to use it for that project and you don't use it again in a long time. So you learn and forget. It's a very tiresome thing to do. So yeah, that's Rogers. I'm also a fan of sports, basketball, football today. Yeah, shall be seeing Man City and Liverpool, but yeah, that's
Man City and Madrid.
Yeah, actually, yeah, Man City and Madrid. Yeah, Man City and Madrid. Of course, I won't be supporting Madrid. Yeah. Any other thing? Let me say music. I love music a lot. So that's I can say a brief introduction.
Yeah, we'll see how to really have a conversation with it around all that.
Yeah.
Now, for like my young brother was just telling you, right? He feels like he should do something, and my other brother did something.
Oh.
He did something. So
Wow.
we networked. But for you, I want to start from how you now pick interest to do software engineering. So then for me, in our time, okay, for me, it was my older brother, right?
Yeah.
Computer science, and
Yeah.
that's all my dad had exports plus two, so we chose the path. My brother did software engineering. I did computer science.
Computer science.
He wants to do computer
Science as well.
So yes, I want to see for you how, from your mind, is how I'll pick his, because you're almost like the same age.
Yeah.
How did you realize that you want to do this?
Okay, how did I realize I wanted to do software engineering? I think it all happened in my vacation of senior 6. I had just finished school, some home, and I'm trying not to be as redundant as possible. So I would look for, first thing I did was to go to Kalangala, because there is like resort there, which is like connected to our family. So my dad called me, was like, if you're now in vacation, come and work. So I'm in Kalangala, and my dad keeps on saying, the resort doesn't have a website. I'm trying to look for people who are going to manage the social media and all that stuff. And I'm like, let me try. So yeah, all these things were happening at the same time, and my older sister came up to me and was like, hey, there's a friend of mine in Tunga, I don't know if you know Tunga, who said that I should try out this short course in some tech firm called Refactory.
I know Refactory.
Yeah, Refactory. So I did a short course. We started in September. My vacation, did a short course of 3 months. It took us through, it was really intense. We're learning so many new things at the same time, different modules, and there are like tests that you're supposed to do. And in the end, you like give a final like tech assessment, which you're supposed to do. So during that whole time, I discovered that I'm actually picking these things very fast. And I have this love for design. So the whole front end thing, so the whole front end thing was really interesting to me, to see how someone can write just lines and something appears as a very beautiful UI experience. So things were coming very fast, but I was able to pick up real quick. And in my tech assessment, were around 40 people doing the course, and were told that they needed 8 for the boot camp, which was supposed to start in January. So the nerves now become really intense. So we did that final, tech assessment. You have to pull up clutch. We presented our final project. They loved it. And I was just waiting to receive an email or not. So the whole time December, I was just, every time I would wake up, I'm checking my email to see if I've been accepted.
I'm throwing candles on Twitter.
Yes, I'm throwing candles on Twitter. Trying to manifest. So the email finally came through. And I was accepted for the bootcamp. The bootcamp was free. Everything is catered. And they give you like a company to work with. So it's like an apprenticeship program. So we entered the boot camp, and I was like, I've now reached heaven. Realizing that things are actually hotter that side. So things were really intense. Wake up every day, scrum meetings in the morning, 15 minutes. So it was really tough, but I loved my experience there. And that was the very first time I worked for someone, because I was being paid salary. We presented the project now in May that year. So from January to May, we're building just one. It was like a KPI dashboard for a financial system. Called Me Cashbox. It's like a UK-based company. So it was really good meeting with all those people. They give you ideas, like the tech lead of the company meets you personally and is like, hey, let's talk, and he gives you hints on where to improve. So it was a really good experience, and I don't regret my time in Refactory. I recommend highly.
It's dope. I recommend. I've been there, I think, for bootcamp as well. The community is just amazing.
Yeah, it's
so
really.
When you get salary, in this case, now that you're into it, because now that is the biggest challenge for me. Why I put pause in school, I didn't graduate the computer science thing, was because I started getting paid for the skill.
For the skill.
Yeah, and I didn't see why I needed to go back to for the purpose
continue
of what I'm doing
when you're already doing it.
Teaching myself. The more I actually do it and I'm being paid for it, the better I get at it. Yeah. So that was one of the biggest issues I faced. I don't see it as an issue because I don't really regret it.
Yeah, if you don't regret it, then really there it's not an issue. The whole salary thing, first of all, the salary, being paid a salary feels good because it feels like you're being rewarded for what you're doing.
Yeah, but this case is different, right? Here you're being paid to actually develop your skill.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? The more you do this, and imagine doing it for money, the more you do this, the better you get at it.
Yes, the better you get at it.
The better chances, because it's skills versus anything in this field, right?
Yes.
The better chances you get to being retained. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do the work. You can show for it.
Yeah.
You can write all the lines.
Yeah. So salary. In terms of salary, the idea of let me say if I'm to get paid, let me say like a good amount of money. But what is a good amount of money for a campus student, right?
Yeah.
So that's also like it's subjective. So the time when I was being paid, I won't say the amount of money I'm being paid, but it was good enough for a campus student.
Sure.
So it was helping me. It was helping me buy a few things, clothes, what. Once in a while, you can go out with your friends. You can save up money, buy something. So, the whole idea of salary, it's how can I say it? Because even later on, because they wanted to the company itself after our 6-month contract, because we had to sign like a contract for 6 months. So it's like half year. They wanted to retain our team of 4 guys. And then we enter like on a junior dev kind of like basis. But for me at that time, I was now weighing the options. Should I continue? Because during that time, I think I was in my first semester of first year. Things were, this is now new stuff. It's tough, right? You are dealing with assignments. You're dealing with work. The times we used to work were kind of different. So I would find myself up at 3 a.m. and I'm working. But at 8 a.m. I should be in class. So it was really taking a toll on me. And I had a talk with my mom. And she was like, this is, I think it's a bit too early. Right? Take this as a step. But she wasn't advising me to continue with them. Because the team I was working with, some of these guys were already old. Like my my fellow teammates, some had families, right? So for them, they actually continued because I know some 2 colleagues of mine, they continued with the company and they're still working. But I decided not to. I was like, let me concentrate on my books. But once you leave that, because now it had become like a lifestyle, you find a lot of free time now. The time which you used to put in working, you're now not doing anything in that time. So you kind of start missing the whole thing of working. Yeah. So I still do. I've been able to, I tried applying in different companies as a part-time dev. The things are tough. Someone says, hey, this kid is going to come. He's in 2nd year and wants to enter. So they kind of don't trust you until you show your skills. But I was like, let me just be patient. I still have 2 years left to finish campus. If I can amass as many skills as possible in this time, by the time I leave, or hopefully even before I leave, I will have gotten somewhere to work. So that's what I decided to do. So I'm not working anymore, just gigs. Someone comes to the gig, hey man, help me with this page. I'm like, okay, give it to me and we discuss like a price.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I think we work together on some, get a lot of those other guys.
Yeah, surely. Please.
I also want to expand this into like a tech hub thing. It's just we go from just the production because they have some experience. But what are those projects you've worked with? What languages?
I've worked on 3 different frameworks. Django for Python. I've worked on React with JavaScript. Then the system for the resort where I work.
You still do the resort work, right?
Yes, I still do the resort work. That's like my, it just keeps me in check, right? So that I don't get rusty. Was built in Laravel, PHP. Yeah, so those are the things I've worked with. Since we are studying like mobile programming in school right now, so I believe that's a skill which I've added on as well. Because I wanted to like go broad and first not only be in web development. So if I add mobile development and can join the two, yeah. So those are the languages I've been working on.
Do you have ideas you want to create for your own when it's just working? I know the money is important, so it's always, we always have to go for the guy giving you the money, so give him your time and mind. But in terms of like ideas, have you thought of creating something innovative? Any innovations you're on about and you feel like they can work? I'll tell you, for example, for us, we did, before Uber came, before all this Hello Food Junior came, eventually they took us, so we started working for them. But we did Transport Me, right? So you could hail car service. We just didn't have a lot of money to to make it broad and big. But that was like a thing, it was a passion in the movement, so that was a great inspiration. We created so many things around everything we were doing, but that was something we felt like by the time Uber comes down here, they'll just give us the money.
Speaking of ideas, I have, because most times you be there in your room and something just crosses your mind and like, hey, let me make my research on this. So I personally, my dreams are not to be working for like someone in the long run. I would like to start up my own like tech startup or something like that. I already came up with a name and everything. Logo, everything is just there waiting. Everything is just there waiting. So
it's always the process.
So ideas, personally, because I'm still like alone on this thing, though I have a few friends of mine who also wanted to help.
Okay.
But it's like I had an idea of, I can call it a black box technology. It's like the black boxes that in planes, right? But the idea here was to put it in our ground automotives, like bikes, like cars, right? So this is like a machine that you put inside the car that is going to, I can call them vitals of the car. It's going to inform you of your car pressure, like the air pressure for your tires. It's going to tell you the heat, the weather outside.
You can't do that.
Now, the thing is, for the most recent cars, I think, because when I was still making research, the most recent cars, I think from 2018, have been ordered to put in something like that, right?
But I'm saying these, I don't know, I started very much.
When?
Very young. My elder brother stole my dad's car. That's a story for another day. We actually knocked the wall. So, but we're young. Now, with the things the car will tell you, right? Automatically on the like dashboard.
Yeah, like on the dashboard, right?
The heating.
Yeah, like
maybe
the
the
heating.
pressure thing.
The pressure for the tires, the engine health and everything.
Yeah.
But then the difference between what my idea was doing to what other cars are doing right now, the most recent cars, is that it would implement V2V communication, like vehicle-to-vehicle communication.
Yeah.
So here it is sending live data to like a cloud platform. Then you have like a dashboard, like a map or something that is going to be showing you the different, let me say like the different vehicles that have this machine in it. So the idea here was to be able to collect as much data as possible. Because first of all, our roads, I don't know, like I haven't been able to do a lot of research yet, but I don't know if there is a legitimate system that the traffic police uses to actually check that, like the different accidents. Or they wait for the accidents to happen, then they record that an accident happened here. So
I think they use now the cameras.
The cameras, yes.
System.
So what this thing was supposed to do is that in case of any crash, what was happening in the car, in the two different cars that have this machine, what was going on? Is there any recording of what was going on, right? What actually caused this accident? This data is now live, right? So in the long run, it would help the government to be able to point out different black spots. Why are very many accidents happening here? Or to be able to now gauge on the driving quality of the Ugandans here. what exactly is there something wrong that Ugandans are doing that is leading to these common types of accidents? Because with the more data you collect, you start seeing patterns. Luckily, I've been able to do some bit of AI. So, with AI, that comes with data science skills. So you start doing some data cleaning and all that stuff, and you start seeing now patterns.
Yeah.
It is now going to show you patterns. So with in a long run, with that data collected, it will be able to tell us that there are different types of cars that have this certain issue, or drivers in this particular part of the road are experiencing the same problem that is not in cars right now. It's not there.
I see.
So that
and
was.
It should work really well with our potholes.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the technology is already there. People are doing some of these things, but I believe that was the cutting edge. There is something more, because people say, don't reinvent the wheel, right? Take the wheel and add something onto it.
That's it.
Yeah.
You can't really come up with something.
You don't come up with something new unless like, I don't know, something falls in you in a dream and you come up with a new science or something. But that was one of the ideas we had to do something like that. So in my recess, this holiday that is coming after exams, I was planning on teaching myself like embedded systems. So maybe I can try to look for funding, ask all my parents, beg my dad, try to come up with like a prototype.
And
by the end of like.
I'm also willing to come on board, by the way.
Yeah, that's really great. Yeah, so being able to come up with like a prototype that does something close to that. Honestly, it's still a very crude idea.
Yeah.
But I believe with time, with the more research I make, I'll be able to like refine, come up
and
with.
Now with OpenAI, it will be also a bit easier. Because I'll tell you, for us, we are trying to, for the pictures, right? Because it's a studio. What we're trying to do now is to use AI to simplify selection. Because you realize when guys go out to like take pictures, say blankets and wines, say a wedding, take like 1 million pictures, right?
Yeah.
And it's always such a hard thing to select these pictures.
True.
Be it your phone, be it your what. Like, you take so many pictures at once. But now, if we try to create an app that you just give it all these pictures, or it just goes through your gallery, and then it selects for you the best pictures. It goes ahead to like categorize them best for Instagram, because now we have all this data, like what works with Instagram.
Yeah.
Algorithms and stuff. Best for the wedding, like the lighting for this particular shoot was nice, because you just have to keep feeding it all this information for it to like get selected to the very core you want.
Yeah.
So, because it's one of the problems we face actually, so we try to solve our own problems with our technology. That's why we're coming up with that. And I think the apps that can do it, they just don't. Now I understand how my Twitter works, right? I've always wanted to like log out, but I use it as a sample space for my world. I just go and send data to the people. I also do marketing for some private equity firm, so friends are big of so many restaurants around here, so I understand people's behaviors mostly, and I know that the video content is now such a big deal.
Yes, true.
To like every business.
True.
And the faster you can simplify it,
the
easier it gets. And there are all these apps like Reels. You just go into your restaurant and it formulates all the now the selection to the core. This will actually really trend because of these results.
I think that's a good idea, because the only now question that comes up is what is the criteria to choose the best.
So that's the thing. That's the data we're feeding all the time. From poses, right? To lighting, maybe use like angles and lighting. So the more you get what people like, also it's data like collected from us submitting pictures to like clients, then we get back some feedback.
Yes, feedback.
What people appreciate online, to seeing other photographers and what makes their stuff trend or their video content trend. To that, we I think produce like the best reels. We for like food content as a studio, but also reels are easy. People like that whole attention span.
Yeah.
Because attention span is really low, right?
It's really small. Really small.
Yes,
it's.
And guys won't give attention to this podcast that much because it's going to be lengthy. It's going to be like an hour or two, and that is an issue. So we try and balance both markets like that.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, the app. I checked though online, then I found something similar to almost what has, and I just paused for a minute.
I know it can be a bit demoralizing, right?
Like, shit.
Look at me when I found out that there are cars which already have something like that, and I thought I've come up with a very good idea.
But it's still really brilliant,
yeah,
really brilliant.
But then going on to think about it, and I was like, wait, there is something that these cars are not doing. So there must be something that you can add on. It's like value addition onto what something's already there. Like, look at safe border. There were already countries that had something similar to that, but they tailored that for our local market, and it has hit, right? So I don't think there is anything wrong, even if you come up with something that's already there, but as long as you can make it suitable for your local market, and it can be easy to use for people here, because I believe every country has a certain level at which people are, can I call it tech literate, right? So if you understand your market or like your target audience, then that like can't stop you from actually going on with your project, I believe.
Did you put that in mind with that for like understanding us? Do you feel like the environment is
now
you can support it to the core? Because most now that will need your first customer is the government.
Exactly. So when I was thinking about this, I was, how can I say it? When I was thinking about this, I realized that there are certain things that you have to look out for. Some of the things that crossed my mind first was, I don't know if you know this project that was going on, the SGS, was it SGS? Yes, where cars had to come and be checked for.
For like,
but it died out.
Things are still on the
and the
highways,
things are still
right?
on the highways. So in my mind, I was like, if this thing had actually gone through, and you sell this idea to the government, it would make it mandatory, make work way easier for the both of us. For every car that goes for servicing or checking, gets that black box in it. They put it in and you go away. But now it's going to be difficult, because how are you going to tell people that, hey, bring your cars here and we put it in for you? How? So my first customer is the government. And those are some of the things that you have to look out for on how to implement. Yes, the idea is good, but how are you going to implement it here? Is it doable or not? So those are some of the things, some big question marks that come, and you be like, well, you just have to, like, I don't know.
Do you have like a plug in like Ministry of Works?
Like connections?
No, not even connections. Someone you feel like can listen to you. Okay, this podcast could be a start, right?
Yeah, I believe it could be a start. I believe
Someone
it could be a
listen to
start.
it and they're like, okay, this is a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
So,
I really hope so.
Yeah, that's maybe.
Considering a plug in Ministry of Works, I don't think I have one yet. I don't think I have one yet.
Do you
but
feel like it's something you consider with a government official?
Yes, surely. If I come up with a very good pitch, because you know the way you sell the idea also matters. And you know these things now, like we're just looking at the benefits, but there's also the whole economic aspect.
Exactly.
Right? And most times when you're pitching to people want to hear money. How is it helping them money wise?
Or how is it saving us?
Or is it how is it saving us? So there are certain things that I still have to look out for and refine, right? Get the pricings for all these things, the technology that is going to be used, right? How are we going to, like, how much is it and all that stuff? So there are, as I'd say, the idea is too crude, but I had written down a few starting points, and I believe I can start from there. The other things,
you really think there will be like a reduction in accidents?
I think
there will be like a preventive measure against them.
Well, I'm a person who believes in like avoidance rather than preemption, but some things you just really can't avoid because we are humans, right? So I believe if the tech is used properly, the first thing it will help is better planning. We have an issue of planning in terms of anything that the government is doing, honestly. The way the buildings are put up, the way the roads were made, right? So if someone has this data with their hands, they can easily plan. And with better planning, surely you're going to avoid some silly things. So I believe in the long run, yes. If it is used well and it actually works properly, with the data that we shall have at that time, we shall be able to plan for our roads better. Plan for the different vehicles better. Because you see now, like in Rwanda, there is, I think, a certain year, certain cars beyond this year are not allowed in the country. I think it's 2014. So even that can come up because you realize that, let us say that most mistakes or like the biggest accidents that we record are in old cars. That will help people to actually, you have now evidence rather than just speaking. Hey, I hear, I know, like I've seen. Now you have actual data. The proof is here. So I believe that's where it will help.
And data is really rich. So
data is gold. Data is gold.
Let's look through your approach to like problem solving.
My approach to problem solving. My approach to problem solving in general, in my life, or in terms of like tech in software. Some of the things that I learned in refactory, one of the modules which I actually really appreciate was critical thinking. And that's something very important if you want to be a problem solver.
Yeah.
So there are some certain steps that you must take. When you see the problem at hand, one of the things that you're going to do is that if I can carry a very big problem with my hands like this, right? I believe it's easier to carry it if it was broken into smaller pieces. So yeah, that can also work, but I think in terms of tech, it's according to how good you are.
True.
Yeah, if you're really good, even the idea of how big the problem is changes to one person to another. A big problem for you might not be a big problem for me. A big problem for me might not be a big problem for you. So in terms of problem solving, I look at the problem at hand. Most times when someone comes to you with a problem, even themselves, they don't know the problem very well, especially in tech. Someone is going to come to you and be like, I want this e-commerce website. And what does it do? How do you want it to do this? And even them, they don't know, right? But they had the idea, but it's a bit vague. So you, as the software developer, you must help them handhold.
Usually that's like the link between the salesman and the marketing team and the developer, right? You create the idea for them. Two guys. I need an e-commerce site. I need it to sell. But then you understand the back end of how fast it will be, how fast its users will read. Like now you have like a whole design background. So it comes easy for you then. Okay, I don't know. I think that's really important because it comes easy for you then to understand the consumer.
Yes.
Also.
Yes.
You place yourself as a consumer.
Yeah. And most times it's advised that when you're developing some certain systems, keep constant communication with the consumers because you're building it for them. There is a certain problem that most software developers go through. They get too excited, right? You enter a project and you go into a rabbit hole and you are now in the dark. Yet this project is not to stay on your laptop. It's to actually be shipped out to the public. So if you don't involve the public when you're solving this problem, then the public won't take up your idea because it is made for you but not for them. So there is that bit of a problem that comes when...
But also, you see, the other issue with giving it to the public, to work with the public and the consumer is their feedback is far-fetched, like, you know?
Yeah, it's... I'll take that from experience.
Yeah.
Yes, because...
it's not a bit actionable, like a guy is going to comment on the most random thing about all the work you've done.
I've seen that. We one time were presenting, we hadn't even yet started on the implementation. We're just presenting a Figma mock-up of the system, right? And out of all the functionality that we had actually included, someone commented on the button. And you're like, really? Like, you have left the big idea and you're looking at this, right? So the result is that. But that's the beauty of it, right? Because these guys are going to say something that you don't see. You have the eyes of a developer, not the eyes of a consumer. So I believe no matter how vague the idea might be, of course some people's feedback can't be taken. Yeah. So it's really according to you or to your standards that you have like a requirements qualification strategy.
So that's the thing, right? When I put up standard and I want my work to look or to perform a certain way. But then I'm dealing with a consumer or a client in this case who feels like their work should communicate a different way. But I know that this is the better way because I have all this data behind it. How do you draw that line?
Well, there's always the back and forth that you go through with these guys, with these types of consumers, right? But I believe even when you leave the whole software engineering part, there is that interpersonal skill that we as developers need, right? The way you communicate to someone really matters, and it really helps in the way they're going to buy your idea. Because initially this person came to you knowing that you are better than them. That's why they came to you, right? So the way you tell them that this probably will work, right, better than what you actually need, it takes time. I believe it takes time. Unfortunately, I've not been able to work with someone like that. I can say unfortunately, because I believe there are very many people like that, and I'm lucky that I've been working with people who they have been able to provide me most times with someone who kind of has an idea in a technical way, right? They have like the technical know-how. So now, like for the Makashbox company that I was working for, they had a tech lead. So someone like that, you can actually speak to them and they understand from your POV that you want to do this and it actually works. But in such a case like that, especially if you're working, I think such consumers are most probably people who are startups, because they are involved in everything and they want to be involved in everything, right? So such people, most times it takes time. Okay, from the stories I've had, it takes time. It takes really good convincing, and the way you dish out your idea to convince them, it takes time. If they're really big-headed, right, then there you must be tough.
Do you think it's important for businesses here to like really create websites? Do you feel like people consume websites?
From
website and mobile applications, let's just look at it generally. Is it important for me to do an app? I want to do an app for like a content thing, like a Netflix, right? For you and for this studio. So I want to do an app where, because I don't just do this podcast, I do this podcast, this radio podcast, so many people's content. I shoot for people who don't actually have the financial stability to shoot, so we do all that for them, and we co-own the content, right? But what like Palmantic does,
yes,
I think Afromobile is trying to do the same.
Yes, Afromobile.
Own it. But I've only downloaded that app once when the Navigator was. I needed to watch the Navigator. I'm in Uganda. I like and stuff. So I needed to follow up on my queen and whatnot. So that's the only time I downloaded that app. When I open my phone, since also maybe because I'm always next to a computer or something, so I use a lot of web apps. I don't see the value of having an app for anything, so it scares me whenever I want to develop this app. Really,
exactly.
Even if I've seen people who have put in the money to like market, but
and
still,
it doesn't work.
Yeah, I still can't have a Jumia app when I don't need it.
There is that problem, and I've seen it myself, because there's a time when I put in my time. It was last year, November. There was a project I was working on. It was an e-commerce website, but for auto spare parts. So the idea really sounded good, and it actually was good. But then we forget now, who are we making this project for, right? First of all, if Jumia now, we can take the example of Jumia. Jumia, if it was only dealing in spare parts, it would have failed here. I think you see where I'm getting to. Because now there you have reduced the market to a very small amount of, because now I'm not really well conversant with the stats, but not very many people go to a business and actually first look out for their website, and that's a problem. So most times when if you are starting and you have started your business, personally I would advise you not to make an e-commerce website, not even a website that shows what your business is about. Because the people who are going to come to your business, first of all, you must know the type of people who are going to come to your business. Unless it's like a website for like a restaurant or something like that,
Yeah.
and you are like in the middle of
Menus.
Kampala, and you are going to show them the menus and all that stuff. That's okay. That can try to work. But if you are for a business, but if you're a business that doesn't really have something to keep on communicating, you're just showing like your catalog or something, and it's going to sit there, I don't advise it. Yes, we want to always build these projects, right? Because now us all like we want is the money, right?
Survive, yeah.
But if you're a business, I wouldn't advise you to start immediately to build a website. No, because people are not going to like the traffic that is going to come to your website. Might see like one person in 2 months. And that's because someone referred the link to them on WhatsApp. Hey, check out these guys. But no one is actually going to see your business, and the first thing that comes to their mind is to view your website. So that's why I think it's different here. Outside there, I think it's better. Like in the US or something. There,
also,
I think
like, shows some authenticity to
yeah,
the brand.
yeah, to a brand. The
Because
whole
I can
brand.
buy, like the whole shebang is there. I can buy, make my sale, and
Yeah. But people might not buy into that idea here, and I believe that's the bitter truth.
yeah.
So when most people come to me or to my colleagues, they'll be like, I want this e-commerce website. You hear they have very good idea, but you ask them personally, how many people come to your shop? Like a month. How many of these people do you see are tech savvy? Are they good with their phones? No. How sure are they they're going to actually check your website? It's just going to sit there and you're going to waste money maintaining, buying SEO certificates and all that stuff.
Internet is still very expensive.
First of all, internet is still very expensive here. I spend almost 30k every week. Airtel data. And that's on my best behavior. That's on my best behavior. Because now me, the whole idea of Wi-Fi, unless I buy a Wi-Fi and I've been moving with it. But I haven't yet actually thought of that. I don't know why I've not done that yet, but but I've been buying data 3 times a week. 10 okay, of which I wait for Friday to buy Freaky Friday. so internet is still expensive here, and most of the people who buy these things, yes, these people actually be having their money, but they don't actually be using the internet for that particular purpose that you have built your website for. So that's I can say the bitter truth. It's sad. We hope it improves, but it's a web of problems that if you pick out one thing, you're forgetting the other things attached to it that are causing that problem.
But you see, it's also because that's what Elon Musk is trying to do with Twitter.
With the Twitter.
To make it X. One-stop platform that has everything. You can just go there.
Yeah.
Because just one thing is expensive. I don't know. Instagram makes money, right? It's rich.
I think it does.
Yeah,
I think it does.
But it's dropping sales because it's monotonous. WhatsApp. How does WhatsApp make money? Mr. Ads. Do they promise ads, but they're not ads?
They're not ads. They promised ads, but they're not ads. So I cannot say I really know
but
how WhatsApp makes their money. I don't know how they do it. Because now they are they under Meta? Right?
Yeah.
Same with Instagram and Facebook.
So initially it was supposed to be subscription based, right? Users had to pay money.
Yes. Like what Snapchat is trying to do with the whole Snapchat premium thing.
The Snapchat, but like that's crazy. I don't know, man. Like,
I don't
why
think
would
it
I
will.
do a
Why would I do?
Yeah.
Why? I barely use the app.
It's interesting that people will still pay for Snapchat premium.
Exactly.
There's a way people like exclusivity. But unless there's like a functionality it's going to provide, that's super cool. Yeah, but people really like you see blankets and wines. You pay, then you enter inside, then they put another tent, then you pay. Like,
yeah, there is that whole. There are like 5 different tents.
Yeah, like
with different experiences,
you want
right?
to feel special, so
yeah,
people ride so much on that wave.
I think it's
yeah, it's still there's no like.
There's no like clear explanation, right, of how they are doing it.
Just explaining what initially people are supposed to subscribe. So, but it's an addictive app. You can't do without WhatsApp. It's
you can't do it all. It's like
I don't know, maybe in stock.
It came and actually like it conquered.
So I'll keep the social media, but what are the odds that I'll keep any other apps on my phone? What other apps do you have on your phone?
Other apps that I have on my phone.
Yeah. What do they do for you?
Well, the apps which I use every day, which are very important to me, I spend actually more time on Twitter than on WhatsApp. You'll be surprised. I use Snapchat just to view people's stories. I don't streak, I don't do anything. I have a very low Snap score because, like recently, I think it was yesterday, I was seeing some thread of people posting their Snap scores. I was like, how do people spend so much time on the app? But I don't use it that much. The apps which I use so much are YouTube. Me. Because of the whole tutorials thing. In a week, I can spend I think 4 hours on tutorials. Every day. Watching tutorials on different things. Because, if you're doing tech-related work, there is someone who has done it before. And they have surely made a very good video.
You can explain exactly. Yeah. You just type in your issue.
Yeah. So, and there is someone who has done it. So, I use YouTube a lot. Leave alone TikTok. I think I use TikTok almost as much as Twitter. TikTok I just used as an escape, honestly, because I'd be tired. I'd be like, let me just watch a few funny videos and do that stuff. So with the way you see TikTok, and there was a recent, I think, scandal in the US where I think it was, I don't know which group, whether the Republicans or Democrats were interviewing the CEO of TikTok and asking him whether it is giving their data to China. Yeah. So you look at this and there were some certain conspiracy theories that it was Instagram behind trying to remove TikTok from the US because Reels are dying. And it's true. People are leaving Reels to go to TikTok. Because TikTok has become a marketing platform. Someone comes up with a new idea and they put it on TikTok and people give it. Because now with the TikTok algorithm, the more interactions you get, it's going to be boosted and it will appear on very many FYPs. So with the way people use TikTok, like TikTok has now become, ideally people now, like in COVID, there was that thing of, man, I can't be on TikTok, what, that time. Yeah. But now people are on TikTok. Why? For very many different reasons.
It's that they have to be there because I realized people consume so much content from there.
Yeah. So, yeah, people go there to watch videos on. Some people just love conspiracy theories, and there is enough content on that there. Some people love seeing art. Your FYP can be full of art, and someone can actually reach out to you. So, with the apps that people decide to keep on their phones, I think it's according to you have to consider very many things. How does it help someone now? Like for a student, like in education, most students are going to find them with, of course, they're going to have YouTube. They're going to have most of the Google related applications like Docs, Sheets, and all that stuff. So according to the different groups of users, there are some certain specific apps that are special to such groups of users. But then there are apps that cut across. Now, like these main social media apps, like Facebook. I don't remember last time I used Facebook, but Facebook is still there.
And it works.
And it works. Maybe not here in Uganda because of the whole VPN issue, but...
Does it seem like businesses to be on Facebook? If you running this, are there numbers that are relevant now that there's TikTok?
Facebook, I think
but you've not used it, so
I've not used it, but I have a sister of mine, another sister of mine who runs.
Just pulling.
Sorry, I have another sister of mine who runs.
Just put it down, then this should break like this, so you can see.
Yeah. Okay. I have an sister of mine who works in a travel company, like travels and tours, like tours and travel, I mean. So she puts her trip calendar for the whole year on Facebook. Yeah. And people actually come to her and they... So, I believe there are still numbers for certain businesses, I think, types of businesses. Some businesses, I think, would thrive more on TikTok. Especially if this is a business that is going to... entice people visually or audio, because now you've seen people put their music on TikTok and it hits, right? You've seen people, one hit wonders nowadays are very many on TikTok, right? Some kid comes, makes a very good song and it hits. So that wouldn't work on Facebook, it would work on TikTok. I believe there's some certain...
Couldn't it work on Instagram as well?
Instagram has...
Why don't they do just the same thing?
I think Instagram has a way it limits people on adding their own sounds, I think.
No, you can't.
I don't know if it's possible. Is it possible?
Yeah, because that's the thing. Whatever is on TikTok is on Instagram.
But why do people not use reels that much? There must be something that is.
It's, I think, with how the algorithm on Instagram works. I think
it's not that good.
Yeah, it's not that
as
good
how it is on TikTok. Because TikTok,
TikTok can just pyro up your numbers, and you feel like I'll tell you, as the guy for TikTok, I still don't go to find anything there. It's so much fake stuff. But I have to post clips of this podcast, right? So I have to go and check. Okay, you go and it has like 20k numbers. Then you go to YouTube and people are consuming at their own pace. But TikTok has that thing that does that. You spoke of conspiracy theories on TikTok. What are some of your best?
So my best conspiracy theories
could be inside, could be world in general.
I keep on saying the argument of the flat earth, round earth, and it appears so much on my TikTok nowadays. Like the funny thing with TikTok is that even if someone sends you a video, like in your chat, like on TikTok, that content starts appearing. That content starts appearing on your what? On your FYP now. Yeah. So a friend of mine sent me a video of that stuff. But one of my best conspiracy theories, I think, is the whole idea of AI. Honestly, like everyone is talking about AI now. The evil part of AI, is it going to destroy the world? Is it going to remove software developers from their work?
It can't.
I keep on telling people, it can't. It can't. Yeah. If it can, not now. Not now. Well,
some people have
lost their jobs.
Guys who have been doing copy, it's now irrelevant.
Yeah, it's not really relevant. People who used to be given work. There was a website whereby you could go and tell someone to write for you text on something, and you'd pay them like, let me say, like $5 every hour, right? But now such people have been removed from the business because there is copy AI. And for this is very good.
There's all those guys for everything.
That has now
that
has now been removed. But if you are really in terms of software, you're working in software, I don't think it has removed people yet.
Because the better you can use AI. I think
AI is here to help us even. Exactly. If you know how to use it, you can use it to your advantage to make your work faster and easier. The faster you are, the better you are in any software world. I think the faster you are, the better. So one of the biggest conspiracy theories is how AI is going to, how is it going to become self-aware? Is it iRobot? Yeah, people have been making up stories that in 20 years we shall be finished as a human race, but I'd be like, nah.
But don't you ever get scared that the machines will rise? I mean, if you can now
we have seen stories of it has even happened, I think, in just normal day-to-day life, when a less intelligent being tries to control a highly intelligent being. How things turn out. Things don't turn out well, right? But AI, who made AI? AI didn't make itself, right? AI didn't have emotion. It's just using natural language processing to make it sound like it actually has emotion.
But right now it's trying to understand emotion. With time, the more time
with
goes
time,
on,
yes, with time.
So
but
you get scared that
the same person, I believe the only way AI can be bad is if someone uses it for
and you can't rule that out.
You can't rule that out. We are humans. We saw nuclear physics was created for good. They created an atomic bomb, for goodness sake. You see, so it has to be us, ourselves, to make it dangerous for us. I don't think it will just out of the blue one day be like, yo, I hate humans. No, how? Why? I don't think that's even possible right now. Maybe not in my lifetime.
But it is, because everywhere, everything is abused. Porn sites still abuse so much of
by
humans, right?
Exactly.
Who are wrong, so you can't rule that they're going to be selfish humans and people are so curious. Plus someone can write some shit.
You see, I was reading, actually not even reading, I was watching one of the shows for Google. I think Google has a new AI called Bard. Yeah. But before Bard, there was Lambda.
Yes.
People are talking about Lambda, but Lambda was closed. Why?
Lambda, I don't know.
Lambda apparently was closed because it had started questioning its existence. And that's weird. I don't know if it's true, but it was going around that it had said as like it was aware and it was questioning its existence. And that's like a black box of AI.
Yes.
People don't know how it's doing that, right? There have been cases recently, even I think last week, of AI being able to self-train itself without being told. I think it was some certain AI model that was doing language like translation. It had never been taught to translate the language they speak in Beirut, but it did. When they gave it the data, someone mistakenly gave it the data, and it was able, but that wasn't there in one of the things that they're going to train. How? So people don't know. There is now a black box that has been created. People don't know how it's doing some things, and that's what worries me now. If there are things that AI can do that we can't explain, I believe it's out of our control.
Sure.
But another thing that someone said, one of the, I didn't get the name when they were talking about bad, was most times people wait for something bad to put restrictions, like something bad to happen to put restrictions. But if that happens for AI, I think we shall be late.
It would have already made up its mind or not.
It would be late. But now the problem with that, you cannot put restrictions on AI. AI is open source.
Yeah.
Anyone can do AI. I made a model that could detect fake news last semester.
How was that though? What was your basis of what's fake and what's real?
Well, the thing
Sources?
with AI, sources of data.
Mm-hmm.
AI, one of the biggest things with AI is to look out for biasness.
Yeah.
So you have to look for.
But you still have to feed it.
You still have to feed it data of both sides.
Exactly.
So there are sources of news that has already been flagged fake before,
Okay.
right?
See.
So you get those data, those CSV files. Then you also get news from like trusted news centers like Reuters, and you get their data, and it's free of charge. You go to like Kgo, and you just download the CSV files. Then you write your code, then you feed it in. I was using the decision tree, like algorithm and logistic regression to train my model. So it was able to flag 1 or 0, that this news 1 is true, the news 0 is fake. So it's really open. It's free to anyone. Anyone can write AI. Anyone can create a
This
model.
helped during election time, you say?
No. It was just like a side project that I did, like a self-teach thing that I was doing during last semester. I took it up.
Online, right?
Yeah, online.
Okay.
I was like, hey, let me look into this, and I found, hey, there is I can try to write a program, because at first my first program was to first detect pictures, but the science in that was a bit above me. So I was like, let me go for something that handles text, because that can be done easily. Plus, even the sources of data are very many for such things. Yeah. So I did that. So the problem with that is that even if you put restrictions, you don't know what someone in Thailand is doing with the AI, right? You don't know what someone in China is doing with the AI, even if you have put restrictions, because it's open.
Be managed under blockchain,
I don't know.
where you can know at least where the changes are coming from, because the problem here is it's open.
It's open. It's open. It's open. And ideally, I think one of the things, because there are pros and cons that come with it being open.
True.
One of the things is that, let us take for operating systems. You see Linux.
Yeah.
Linux is open. But Linux is one of the most secure operating systems that you can find. Why? People always look out for these loopholes and they fix them.
Yeah.
So I believe that was the same idea that they came up with AI, not to centralize it and make it one person to have everything. No, make it open, because it's here to help literally everyone. But one of the things is that as humans there are good people and bad people. And even if you put restrictions, okay, they are okay, according to circumstances.
Yeah.
So even if you put restrictions, you can never know what someone is doing in the dark somewhere. So with that left, if you now look at it in that, I'm not a very pessimistic person, by the way. I'm always looking at the brighter side of things.
I am really optimistic about everything.
Yeah, so I just run on hope that
And I find hope very misleading.
You tell me why. You tell me why. But I don't know if there is going to be a way that they handle, because now it is a very fast growing technology, and if we don't control, no. Honestly, I'm not.
But you're a developer, you feel like you can work around it at any time.
Yes. I'm honestly not moved, because some people just do this for fear mongering. We have seen this very many times.
But minus, okay, now that let's go to the positives. Do you feel like AI is contributing to our society, say Uganda, really? Minus, because the copy to the normal ground society, do you think we are there yet now?
AI is creating a lot of dependency, and I think with the more time that comes,
actually,
people
we should
will
just cover
be
technology as a whole, not just AI.
okay. Yeah, it's okay. Technology, including AI, is meant to make people's work easier, and ideally, I don't believe in people who say that tech is making people lazy, right? Because humans, we want to always like no one wants to work really a lot, right? But we want to make things faster, more automatic, and all that stuff. So the more people are making like tech to like solve a certain thing that used to take a very long time, I believe that's good, even if it's making us lazy. But that's the whole main point, right? We don't want to work. Okay, me personally, I don't want to work. If there is a way I could find a tech that would be able to do some day-to-day things for me, I'd honestly take it up, because I don't want to do that stuff.
Sure.
So the same thing with AI. It's making, I think it's making people very dependent on it. But in general,
Like,
one of creativity-wise, I think, I don't know. I just believe like people don't. I just believe that with the now like ChatGPT 4, I mean GPT 4 I think is out. Is it?
Is it now?
GPT 4?
It's not.
Not yet.
Yeah.
But it's on its way this year, I think, right? And it has been able to add the image part. Though Bard is already doing that, I think now. Bard is doing that now, right? People, I just believe like it's, I don't know. I just feel like people are going to become, can I call it less creative? Or they'll become creative now in other aspects. Because like creativity die and die. Yeah. But I believe in some things that people have been creative in nowadays, AI is going to cover that.
Because that's the thing. It's already covered in the videos.
Yeah.
Like
People now make, people now,
that's
with the better it becomes in image, how can I call it? Like manipulation and video manipulation. People will be able to make adverts using AI.
But right now it's so possible, because right now you can feed text and it creates this conversation.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, so what I usually do is to read a few things about the guest and go through maybe their timeline on LinkedIn if they're like experts on something, or not like you had to go through your timeline, see things you fuck with, say, like try and draw a picture of the person so you understand them, right? So you can vibe with them. But right now you can feed that and then it creates video of us talking.
That's crazy. I didn't know that's even possible. I'm learning that here. I'm learning that here. That's crazy. That would really be crazy. So now, I think you see, people used to be creative in such aspects, but it's now no longer going to be needed.
Yeah.
It is now pushing our limits. I believe, okay, as humanity, let me call it, it's never good to rest as humanity in terms of innovation. And if you find that humanity is now becoming more relaxed in some things, that's never good, right? We don't want to become comfortable where we are. Yeah. So with certain things that are removing now what people considered valuable and is now making it easily, it's going to push people to do more that the AI can't do. So the AI is now chasing us, and we shouldn't allow it to catch up. For me, that's my mentality, right? If it was able to make, if people used to go to brand designers, AI can now do that for you. So now these brand designers also have to now think outside the box. They were comfortable now, and now they have to think outside the box. What can I do that this thing can't? And that probably will take us forward.
Or lazy, like you said. Like I just feel like, okay, since I decided to do this, please do it. Let me just watch it from my side.
Yeah. So I think those are one of the biggest positives I see in AI. It's going to push us further in terms of creativity. There are some certain things that we consider valuable that are now not. But as humans, we are not, we don't usually like being defeated. So we are going to push further. New things are going to come up that weren't there.
So much, and that's when the fight is going to start.
Then it will come following up, because now it is feeding on data. I think GPT-3 was feeding on data from 2017, 15, around there.
Yes.
Then the more we innovate, it's going to keep on catching up, but we have to keep on pushing further. So I believe now we have something checking us. We have something. If you check your side mirror, AI is coming for you. So think harder. Think harder.
But the more we feed it, then the more
intelligent it becomes.
Aware. Then it takes just one fool to set us quiet.
Well, since you don't believe in the whole hope aspect, but I will use it. Hope. Let's just hope that it doesn't happen.
Sometimes it's all you have. Sometimes it's all.
It's all we have to cling on to.
Yeah, but sometimes it's the hope that really carries. But back to you though. Let's look into how you approach developing the skill. Is it more time, the dedication from you?
Well, one of the things that I've learned when I look around in my class, everyone is doing software, but for completely different reasons. Some are there just simply because the government gave it to them, right? Some are there because they actually wanted it, and you can see these people who are there because they actually love what they are doing. So in terms of adding skills, I did a certificate on Google UI UX design on Coursera. Yeah. So there are some certificates that they give out. That one was.
Are you guys still on Block B?
Yeah, Block B. It's still on Block B.
Level 5.
Yeah, level 5 most times. Me club.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, though most times me usually I'm there, just tap Wi-Fi and download series, man. I won't lie.
That's all we do. That's it.
Yeah, so people go there to do completely different things. So in terms of like adding skill, one of the things that I believe someone can't say that they don't know where to get this information from. There's a lot of information off the internet. A lot. Even if you're not able to pay for the course. Because now like that Google course was for paying. Yeah. But you can also apply for financial aid. It's there on Coursera.
Even financial aid is like a stretch. You
can still get the skill. You can get you can still it's according to how much do you want this? Right? So it's what is your inspiration? What is driving you? So there's a time when I think I actually interviewed Tandeka here, right? Yeah. Tandeka is a very good friend of mine. Yeah. There's a time last year when I felt like I'd lost focus. I just left refactory and I didn't have something driving me. I felt like I'd met a mental block. I wasn't thinking. I wasn't thinking forward. Just there, lost. So Tandeka called me and he was like, "Hey man, everyone who is in the creative industry
is on that shit vibe now.
Yeah, like goes through this. So it's normal. What you have to now do is go back to the drawing table, right? Discover what inspired you to actually push so hard then that you don't have now, right? It might have changed, and these things change every now and then. Your sources of inspiration or drive change every now and then, and it's good that they change because most times what was driving you now, you have conquered it. So you need something new. You need a new challenge, right? So that goes back to the whole thing of adding skills. You just keep on giving yourself a challenge. I gave myself a challenge in UI UX because I believed I was not good enough. I'd created, as I told you, I'd created the whole front end pages of some projects. Yeah. At some point, and I was receiving similar feedback for some certain things I was doing. I was like, there's something I'm doing wrong, right? So let me go out and I get this certificate and I learn from people in Google themselves. And it was really something good that happened to me. And I believe if someone really wants to do something and they have a clear idea, the information is out there. There's no excuse you can give anyone. And it's free of charge. Unless you have the money, you can get now the exclusive stuff. Yeah, but you can get everything off the internet. So in terms of skills, and I'm still planning on adding skills, some other certificates that are out there that I'm looking out for. But now, I won't say I have a very clear idea of what I want. I won't lie.
But you do. The fact that you've gotten the opportunity to like test the whole concept of salary and money, and you still focus to this. I feel like that's strong enough to get.
Yeah.
Or maybe you've just not really gotten enough.
Maybe that. Maybe I've not really. I actually believe I haven't got. Every man has a price. maybe I haven't reached that price yet.
Because then for our field, you think about it and you're like, what's the goal? And then you think about the time.
So what do people?
Because African Internet Group took me up when I was 21. What's your age? I'm 28 now, right? So that just blinded everything else. I could just, everything was there. There was no point to go back to those steps for real. I left like in year 4. That's
for real.
So I was like, let me just do what I'm doing. Let me just keep up doing. And yeah, from there I've transitioned.
But it worked.
Knowledge.
It worked.
It's working.
You took a bet on yourself and it actually worked.
Yeah, that's
exactly. And that's something which very few people do. Actually, when I listen now to your story, I'd be like, I think those are some of the missing things. That the ability of someone to take a risk like that. I think that's the defining thing.
I take so many risks, and I train myself that so much with my daily life. Like I'll challenge myself to like, okay, I have to like do 50 more push-ups. Let me go and to do like 20 more laps or stuff like that. I'm not like worked out, but I try to do that stuff.
Yeah.
Most times I give up.
I feel like your body just
then
wants
I read some stupid article. I'm working hard to just fuck me up. And I'm like, okay, now let me agree with this. I get that, but I like to still go back to something. So to me, that was the thing. I was like, okay, now there's a job. I can still do these things. I'm a bit very entrepreneurial. I needed the money from the job to like do the businesses, and that was working out. I'm like, okay, this is it. But the skill, like it's love or anything. Now, before you know it, I'm doing film, and color grading and whatnot.
How did you transition from computer science to?
Almost the same thing, really. Because now, let me show you the process. So of course, I get employed, right? Most of the people are doing most employable stuff. Then
in that time,
yeah, was so many of people you do marketing for,
mm.
and when you're in computer science, you can do digital marketing. You just take that up.
Yeah.
So I branched there. Like, okay, I can do this for these brands. See how they get in, put up their websites, sell it like the end goal, support it with their social media. So a lot of money was coming in from that. And it's something you can scale up real quick. But what do they all have to do? It's content. Right?
Yeah.
So the idea of the podcast is rich because whatever works in the US works down here. And right now, the richest people in the US, all of them have podcasts in some way. Like somehow, Elon is the top guest on Lexi Friedman and Joe Rogan.
Yes.
Something like
same.
that. That's people feel like they can trust these platforms more. So we start the conversations with my brother. Like we were like a team of friends, close friends. There was just one female. All of us were just boys. So on some night in lockdown, so the transition comes from no more going to office, right? We're working from home.
Working
so
from
we have
home.
all this free time. For
Exactly.
The whole 9 to 5, like you have all this free time. You can just meet up with your friend. And
Yeah.
So we had just mics. Yeah, we get the mics. We're talking. We see which was amongst ourselves. Then publish. Then I put on my Twitter, make noise about a few episodes. Some people catch them, some others don't.
Yeah.
Then we kept loving the conversation, right? Like between ourselves. Then we're like, okay, how do we move from this? We should put video. We had one camera. It's in my room. Then we're like, we need interaction. We need to like do the guests. So we buy more cameras. We buy 2. I think these 3 come at once.
Yeah.
Because the interaction, one camera else, then the wide. Like we can actually really start a studio. Since now in my field, content is really rich, right? The guy is selling whatever they're selling to do content. So if you add on doing the whole shebang for them. You do the websites, then you also feed them the content.
Yeah.
You can handle that.
Yeah.
You become a one-stop center for the whole chain. So you don't have to charge people so expensively, but then you're working with them long term and you're getting comfortable money to actually run the studio or to run your lifestyle. So it just sinks like that, right? There was some passion as it
I see.
but it just sinks like that. My other partner is my brother. So he's full-time software engineer. He's affiliate. He works for Andela, so his affiliate is always working outsourced and
a dream. It's a dream. Andela.
If you it's a dream. Big. I feel like makes sense. So the field is like that. So this young one is also coming going to do the same thing. Take pictures.
Yeah.
To probably keep up with it or not.
Mm.
We also love to talk really.
Yeah.
See this conversation. I didn't even expect it to take this direction. It's one of my best. So that's the thing. That's how I transition into peace. Like it's more like the same thing. I still do the same stuff. Still involve with people. Yeah. Still take on gigs. Yeah. But then I want to do this full time because then I want to develop and innovate around the content creation. I'm employed. So, but to me that also is just understanding the field. It's a field I chose. It's like, okay, now there's the Kampala nightlife, there's the restaurant business, there's hospitality, tech and logistics in this equity form. So let me just work for it and just understand humanity, Kampala, Ugandans. So then I can feed that data into what I'm doing here and sell that into the products, into the information people are consuming, because then that's what people are parting out for. These are people they see.
Yeah, it's good. It's good because I heard you talking about gigs and everything. One of the things which I actually keep on facing is gigs, because I get gigs every now and then. But the thing is, when someone comes to you and they don't understand properly, they also don't value it the same way you value it. So there is always that gap, that gap there. So someone can come to you and you're like, hey, I want you to help me build for me it's a multi-page website, right? It's probably like more than 10 pages. That takes time. And most times when people are valuing their projects, they value the time. The time I put in matters so much because it's where the money comes from. So you tell someone, hey, the quotation is like 1 point something. And they look at you and I'm like, then you ask them, how much were you actually thinking of paying? And someone tells you like 500K. You're like, what? That's not worth it. Because you'll be hearing people are charging 3 ma for some certain projects, right? So, and you're going to do it very well. But the person doesn't value your work.
The trick I can give you guys, you just value your time. Like how much time do you have to dispose of from everything else? You have your priority, right?
Yes.
Could be school, could be what?
School.
Work. So, if a guy is going to take away 4 hours of your school every day, that's how you charge them. Because your priority is school. So, in this case, money is not what you're looking for. So, if they can't make that sacrifice to meet you halfway, you don't put the rate on yourself.
Just don't. And that's what I've been doing. So I tell them, if you really can't reach that amount, then it's fine. I won't
with
do
me,
it.
and that's the thing. That's why I don't even like advertisers in the podcast, because they come with certain conditions, like throw into your conversation something like this. I don't want to do that.
When in the middle of a podcast, you're like, by the way,
I don't want to do that. So you end up focusing on what you feel like will be. I must say, big Lilo and fun, right? So Lilo is one of those really, really good rappers who didn't branch out to do like a lot of business. He just let the music do it. Kept to the bars, kept to these flows and his lifestyle. Like a rapper who is talking about smoking weed is going to be high all the time because they have to. So that also just taught me some bit of focus. Like you can just do something because you love it and grow it. So I spend a lot of time feeding into this. I would love to have this.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that's it. That's it. The pricing. Yeah, with Ugandans, that's what you're going to get. But if you get hooked like on Andela, then that's outsourcing you to.
Yeah. Now at least there is already like a predetermined amount
general
of money.
market.
Yeah.
You get to work on guys who you don't need to see, but they fit your brand. Fit. You can do a house party from your computer, and they give you a budget for the house party. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, part of this podcast is also you have to ask questions. Or contribute to the conversation.
Some of let me see, because now the whole conversation has been on like tech and stuff. So I don't mind it being entirely on that. I don't really mind it being entirely on that. You know, when I'm like at school, I be in like class or something, and then you find that someone is like like how can I say it? You know, you be there in school and you see your fellow, let me say like classmates, right? They're doing something related to what you're, but for them they're already out there, right? So I be asking myself the whole time, like, these people that, these friends of mine, or like these different classes of mine, some of them really, you're there and you ask yourself, why are you still like doing software engineering? Like, he's so good, but it clearly just shows he's just there for the papers, right? So I always be like asking myself, I have a friend of mine called Brian. He's works on very many different things. He's actually the head of the AI lab now, I think, for the Google Developers Club in Makerere. He's the head of the AI lab now. So, and this guy studies with us, and he's okay, like I won't lie, he's barely in class most times, but he just comes, does his papers, passes, leaves, and then goes. So like there are a lot of things that I think you only get to like experience when you are like in school itself. There are different things now. If I'm to look at the whole different like aspects of me now, like as a student, of course I'm at school to like study, but I'm also there to socialize, build networks. Actually, when you contacted me, I was so surprised. I was really shocked, because I was like, what made him look out for me? And because you see my Twitter most times, I be just jokes and stuff, because I treat Twitter as like a diary for me. So you'll find me writing about close to anything, Take, let me think, I found a bug. I can just be there, get my phone and what, and I wrote about it. So there are different things that I've learned, honestly, in these 2 years, because I've been in campus for 2 years only now. They have really rushed us, They have rushed us at campus, because I think I joined first year last Feb, but we finished first year during that very year, and decided second year that very year, wow. And now I'm finishing. I think that's because they wanted to like
make up for COVID.
Like make up for COVID. So one of the things that I keep on looking out for is the whole and I call it the relationship environment in school. So those are some of the things that I be seeing in school, the whole thing like relationships, dating, or like all these things. So all I wanted to ask is like, how did you like manage yourself when you're in campus?
You said I did.
Did you?
I didn't.
Did you?
I did not manage myself at all.
Yeah, because now, like, for me, man, I won't lie, like, first released those babes, man. I was like, let me just focus on my craft. Yeah. Of course, you be seeing them and everything, but then, like, the whole idea of, like...
It's easily the worst and best decision I ever made. So, yeah, that's it. So I fell in love in that same age, right, 22. Really, really, really. I feel like that was strong love, real relationship. Now look, I have money, right? Okay, as in, it's 10 of it was then I left too.
An Olympia guy, yeah.
What does that even mean? But well,
It's
cool.
nothing.
When it just opened, because it opened in our year, like, we're the first guys there. So, but that's the thing. You just have to pray to God that you're in position. Okay, I don't know why today I said you have to pray to God. I don't really always pray to God. But yes, you just have to, like, hope, like you said.
Yes.
You are in the right mind space to fully understand your emotions, right? So it's not bad. You can do the relationship, but then if you're not emotionally stable or intelligent in that time for a few aspects to understand your partner, it becomes tricky. It takes a big toll on you.
Trust me, I've seen that.
Yeah, it takes a big toll on you in all aspects. Because then, oh my god, I feel like it's the worst thing someone can do. Like, start
Right now.
Yeah, love things when you're at my age, like 30.
Yeah,
29.
yeah. I know.
That's it.
I know.
In that time, just do your shit, and it's really important that you brought it up. Yeah, I can't tell you really I knew how to handle myself. I'm really grounded from my home background. I come from a very humble family. I used to think my dad was rich until I grew up to understand that it was a humble family.
Yeah.
Like, there was just sacrifices to be in top schools and what.
Yeah, trust me. Yeah.
So that's when I find that out. So by campus, I realized that
yes,
actually, this man just took me to top schools because
he wanted the best,
and he wanted the best for me, and those were sacrifices. He took away all this life for him to just make sure that happens, right? So that was it, but I was still.
Yes, you get lost. You get.
Yeah, still a guy who would go
Campus
to
is
India,
campus.
Instead of staying in some hostel to be comfortable and still. So I wanted to live through it like that. Yeah, the most important thing though is not to get sick, not to have children if you're not ready for them. Yeah,
I can't. It's like I don't know how I even start because now the family I come from a big family. I can say it's a big family. We come because my dad come from a family of 2 moms.
okay.
Yeah, 2 moms, 2 different sides of the family. But us as kids, consider us as brothers and sisters. It's not really that deep.
Yeah, it's not that deep.
Yeah.
It's never that
So when you say that, I see my dad, he's taken over 9 kids, you know, and he has taken us to the top schools. Yeah. All the 9 kids. I'm the last born, by the way. I'm the last.
Wow.
I'm the last born. The person who I follow is 6 years older than me.
So you should be in position. So yeah, you should be in position to like take as many risks as you have. So for me, that informs my risk. I'm not the last born. That's my mom. But to her, as the last born. So I had this like a gap. But like you said, it's not that deep. It's messy with the messy things.
Yeah.
But because of that thing being in my mind, I always took risks. So it came natural. Like I'll be picked up like I need to go if I'm falling. There'll be someone to save me.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so the entitlement was still in.
Yeah. Because now for me, I think my dad is someone who I really look up to him.
Yeah.
I really look up to my dad so much because the things he has been able to do from the background he comes from. Because my dad, he's an ex-military person. He's a retired captain. So, and if you hear the story of how he joined the army,
It's crazy.
I don't think I would be alive if I was in his position. With the way I've been brought up, I just don't think I'll be able to feel in his shoes. Because this is a person who joined the army during the Lowero War. Things were tough. They just got kids who were able-bodied and
They
took them. And dad was one of them. He went there, grew up in the ranks, grew up his whole life in the army. Then he started doing also some like political work because he was an MP. But I think he was an MP before I was born. When I was born 2002, he was kind of transitioning out of politics. But he was still in and out of politics. Yeah, so you see the type of person he is, and he has some certain principles that he follows in his life. And these principles he keeps on.
Come in.
Yeah, so these principles, these are things that he keeps on mentioning every time he meets us, because he's always at the resort. So most times,
I saw you always at the resort.
Yeah, so most times if he's to come this side, he's maybe coming to like handle some stuff, and he goes back. His whole life is that side now. So every time we go to meet him, I don't always see him every time. But my dad was not someone who used to come to school there to see me for VD. Once in a while, the time when my dad would come, I would know that something is wrong. Like I'm in trouble.
There's someone there.
Or yeah, like he has been summoned. Or let us say he was, because most of our schools I studied on one Entebbe Road. Because I went from Turkish in my O level. I was in Turkish Academy. Then I went to Budo, King's College. Then I went to Chitende. Yeah.
Cheated.
Guys, but I'd be lying. Okay, I'll debunk those allegations.
My best friends have gone to Chitende. They have confessed me in person that they cheated, so I'll forever hold that against. So yeah.
Well,
okay.
Yeah. So I used to come once in a while, and every time I used to come.
Where did you leave Budo for Chitende? We all do that. I left Naminyango for some other school from Birimumaaso. It's the same thing, but why?
Well, it's a long story, but I think one which I can summarize.
Okay.
First of all, I'm a person who has studied in 2 different years. I've studied in 2 different year groups. How? In my primary P6, I did my PLE in P6. I did my PLE in P6. Yeah, so it's like you can say I skipped a class.
Okay. So wait, how do you do PLE in P6? Like,
well, it was the story behind it is it's a very funny story. It was like a bet I took on with my mom. So she was like, hey, because I was like brilliant kid, but like I'm doing my papers well and all that stuff. So my mom was like, why don't you try? As a joke one time during lunchtime at home on a Sunday. So like, why don't you try doing PL in P6 by the way? And I was like, what? How is that possible? She was like, I have a person who can help us. Right? So I got registered. in P6 in some other school. Because in my primary I studied in Kaboja.
Yeah.
Junior. Then I registered in some school near our church at home. Some small school. They registered me. I did mocks, those KCA mocks.
Yeah.
I performed, I think I got 7. So they were like, hey, this kid can actually do what? PLE. So I do PLE, P6 results come out, and I've passed. And my mom is like, now why should you continue to P7? Go straight to senior 1. So those are also one of the reasons why I went to Turkish first. Because we did some bit of scouting. My parents were like, it's not good to go in a traditional school when you're not with your year mates. You don't know one. These are people who have been with, like, most people go to, like, let me say, you're going to find like Kaboja students. They have a cocoon in Budo, in senior 1, but they know themselves, right? Yeah. But here I knew no one.
Yeah.
So she was like, let's go to a child-friendly school. That's one whole year. A whole year can be a big difference, right? So they took me to Turkish because Turkish had, I can call it semi-international school. So they took me there. I loved the school. There was a friend of my sister, because my sister at that time was doing her senior 6 in Namugongo, but she had a friend called Wako, and he was in Turkish. So he was like my older brother. So every time I would always go to him. Whatever. Then I slowly grew into the school, made new friends, and went on for 4 years. And I finished my O-level in Turkish. So Turkish, I performed well, and I qualified to enter Budo. So I go to Budo. Entering Budo, I spent there a year. But things did not go my way, academic-wise, and also personally. I think that year in Budo was, I can consider it to be one of my lowest years. In life.
So far?
Yes. In my short life so far, 21 years. I think that has been one of my lowest times in life. emotionally, very. I can't say I was in depression. No, I wasn't depressed, but things just weren't going my way, even if I tried. Because this is someone who knows that they're brilliant. I knew like these things are not supposed to be failing, but I was failing, right? So third term comes and I did not pass, but I was promoted on probation. So my dad is like, "What's going on?" They blow me. There was a hot argument at home. So my dad is like, "I want you to continue," and I'm like, "No, I'm not continuing in Bodo," because I knew nothing was going to change. Things just don't change in a snap like this in Form 6, and Form 6 is even supposed to be more difficult. So if I failed here in the basics, how am I going to pass in the advanced work? Right? I was like, no. My dad wanted Bodo because it's a good school. And it is a good school.
Yeah.
It was one of my lowest times, but I also made very good friends when I was there.
It's also a CV school, right?
Yeah, it's also a CV school. A connection school, because they really keep their circles.
Yeah.
Those guys, they remember themselves. Yeah, so
Important.
he really wanted that for me. But I also wanted to pass. So me and my mom were talking, and she was like, "Why don't you try repeating?" Right? I also wasn't buying the idea of repeating. Mom was thinking of continuing now in Chitende, because that was an option in Chitende. You could go and join Chitende in Form 6. But then she was like, "Nah, you haven't learned the foundations. These things will disturb you, and you still find yourself regretting." So my dad gave me a decision. He was like, "Okay, we are going to leave this decision entirely on you. Make your own decision. Carry your cross. I've given you 3 days to give me an answer." Because that time I was going back to Kalangala. I was like, "You call me and tell me what you have decided to do." So I was there, I think, scratching my head, scratching my head in my bedroom, and I'm like, "Bro, what am I going to do next? Like, what's next?" So I chose to repeat in Chitende. Now, when I told my mom that, she was like, "Okay, is that your final decision? Are you ready to make that decision in your life?" I was like, "Yeah, let me do it." Call my dad. My dad is like, "Okay, if that's what you've chosen, fine. At least I did not have a hand in that, so you have no one to blame for anything." So we go to Chitende. I get a place, and I'm joining Form 5 again. But now I'm meeting the people who I left in P7. I'm now seeing familiar faces. People who I knew. So that was it was weird for them and me during that time. Because there are some people who came from Bodo, who were in Form 4 and I was in Form 5. And now we're in the same year in Chitende. They have also left Bodo. They have also come to Chitende now. It was weird. Like,
So you caught up?
Yeah. We caught up.
You had fluked a 1 year off.
Yeah, then they still caught up. So I still went back. Like, fate was like, "Nada, go back down."
That is such a super cool, interesting story.
Yeah, so I reached there, and I'll tell you this. There is no set of exams I feared. Like mid-term, Form 5 first term. Because I still had that trauma from Bodo. I was getting weird points, I'm telling you. Right? So I was like, if this happens again, then now I don't know what I'm going to do. Right? If this happens again, so now you can imagine what was going on in my mind at that time when I was doing those papers. Then our results come out. Because now, like in Chitende, they read the results in the stadium for the best performance. And I was red. I'm telling you, from that time, I never looked back. When I was red that time, I never looked back. I was like,
how much of that do you take? Let me tell you something. When I was in my primary, right, I took school the whole time. So nursery was there, St. Francis. I was in baby. My friends were in top, but there was no point for me. Also, that one of the schools, Mrs. was like an aunt to me.
oh,
So there was no point of me doing the whole baby third term thing and what. I went to top directly.
You went to top?
Went to P1. I went to Kampala Academy, the school my dad used to sit on the board. So I used to somehow, but I got expelled. P4.
oh.
I don't know how I found myself in a girls' dormitory, but that's a story for another day.
Okay.
So no, I get I ace class the whole time, right? Without even knowing. I'm not reading. You don't know what's happening in primary. What
But
you're
you're passing.
What you're passing. Then I go to secondary. I go to Namiriango. Oh my God. The first bit. Me, like, I performed so bad.
Must have been a shock.
Yeah, like, now at home, of course.
Yes,
You
the pressure.
see,
The pressure.
This is it, you've been playing and whatnot. You don't give anything attention. You don't focus. Hey, you're a bright child. But the most important echo to me always, and up to date, was always that you're bright, you're intelligent, you have to do it. Like, it's like people were so sure of what I could do, right?
Yes.
Without even me noticing.
Without even you noticing your own potential.
So that cut out the whole minding how I performed. I picked up thinking I'm actually really smart. Because my dad just kept saying that, yo, look, I do trust that you're smart, but I need you to focus. I need you to do these things. I need you to, like, that was his conversation all the time. Like, you can do it. Like, he's not like a guy who will like take you through schoolwork to like teach you. He doesn't really give two shits about what you're doing. But yeah, he'll go pick up your report.
Yeah.
It rubbed off my mind that, okay, topping class was important from then. To you, why was that so important?
Well,
Oh, you didn't know. It just mattered. Because then also, you come like from a big family and it's not like you want so much pressure of being number one to
by the way,
rescue us.
the family which I come from has been a family of high performers.
There's that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the competition keeps.
So this is something whereby everyone knew that you have to perform. Other people have performed. Everyone else, you're like you're the last born. You're seeing everyone else else's results. My sister got 20 doing Meg, right? My bro was still doing during that time of 25 points, and he was in I think 2021, right? My sister got 24 out of 25. So like you see, it was a family of high performers. So it just rubs off onto you that you
have to do it.
Perform. It's supposed to bring in numbers. Now actually me, I was someone who actually loved school. I won't lie to you. Even my own siblings told me, okay, you're just weird, because me, everything I used to be law-abiding student, everything, good boy in school, everything, right? So I used to really put in effort. I used to put in effort.
School was your thing. You looked forward to it.
Yeah. I did not like the whole essence of the limitations of school, but I believed school was school and I had to study and pass. Now here comes a change. You have changed the environment, right? You have left Turkish to single boys, even at Budo, and now girls and everything, right? There's now a certain thing of culture, right?
So the girls made you...
Actually, I don't think... No, not really though. No, I don't think they're the main reason.
They were part of the reason.
I think they're part of the reason. I think they're part of the reason. Plus, I think I got caught up in very many things that the school was offering that weren't in the school I was in. So my mom was like, what if you had stayed in Turkish? Do you think you would have performed well? I was like, maybe so. I don't know. Maybe it took me a long time to adapt to where I had gone, right? But I don't take my time in Budo as a regret, because I learned something during my
and
time
also
there.
The culture, you're now part of it. Once you're Budonian,
Yeah. I was there for 1 year, but I still talk to very many people from there. They're still my friends, very good friends of mine from Budo.
Sketch was there for 1 year.
For real. Yeah. So why I brought up a story is that I learned something during my time there. It was a very tough time, but one of the reasons that made me choose to actually go to stand and repeat was that I told myself, I'm not in a race with anyone. This is me.
That's genius at that age, though. Like,
this is me.
I wouldn't tell myself
that. I'm not going to, because there is that whole thing of what are your friends going to say. Hey man, this guy repeated. I was like, block all that shit out, right? Because in the end, those guys don't come back to your home and sleep in the same bed as you.
True.
Plus, they also have their own problems. So you are in this thing alone. Those people are just there with you.
Man, you're better than me. Because you know that decision really happened. In A3, my dad asks me to repeat. I'm like, yo, this will be the end of us. I'm not saying let's not talk about it. It's like, I need you to pass. I need you to be top. I couldn't do it. But
Yeah, so when my dad later on told me that when he heard that I had said that, he was very happy.
That was a really smart decision.
Because it was because it was like
decision.
because it was like I had taken a very mature decision
That was
for that time. And I don't regret Bodo opening my eyes to that. My experience in Bodo opening my eyes to that. I believe it was, for me, I believe everything happens for a reason, by the way. I mean, and I believe that happened exactly just opened my eyes. I think I was taking some things for granted. And that time I learned that, hey, like there's something that my dad used to tell me, that you're the captain of your own ship. Right? But I never understood it until that day. That no one is going to be responsible for the decisions you make apart from you yourself. So you have the blame game stops now. Right?
Has that driven you to now?
That still drives me to this day.
Yeah. Do you also feel like, so for me, topping class mattered in just one way. It gave me so much confidence.
Yes.
Unknowingly.
Yes.
And that has rubbed up to now, right? I walk into people's offices and they have all these qualifications and I still argue them down to a few research I've made because I am that confident. I can I've made many people money in the country. So many, I put them off my mind. That guy's a millionaire, but I have a contribution to it. That's a dumb thing to say, but that's how I feel, right? Because I'm not a millionaire. But yeah, so the confidence from it was beautiful. Like knowing that, man, at least in this particular thing,
I'm the best.
I am the best. So if I'm not handsome, if I can, and I also felt that sports, I could not dance. So all these other things.
You're almost like me.
Yeah, all these other things were a bit, hey, guys are going for sports, you really can't go anywhere. Guys are dancing, they're getting girls in the bar, and so not in the bar, in the dankers.
Yes, the dankers.
Yeah. But you can't do that. They're just there chilled.
Yeah, I also failed, trust me.
So the only thing then that could make up for all that was the fact that guys could come to you for
consultation.
So I feel like, okay, I need to know stuff.
I need to actually know stuff.
That's how I actually ever read in school. Like, I need to know stuff because I need to.
Because you have to maintain a certain picture.
Yeah. Guys, they need to get to know.
They need to know that you're that guy.
Exactly. And that to me is actually, up to now,
still drives you.
I don't feel like there's something I don't really know. Like, I'm a jack of all trades.
Yeah, but you know something everywhere.
Something. Like, even when I'm going to invest in something, then it's... So, this thing started just a podcast, right? So, the decision to actually invest in a studio was because this made sense. I took time, I was like, okay, now I can put this together. I can do audio, I can play this. This is making sense. I started listening to other guys' stuff. I saw the value when COVID came around, how much value Joe Rogan had.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, we can actually transition into something, and this is there. There's no TV. But what does that mean? That the performing, apart from the fact that you had to keep up to family standard?
Performing, first of all, I'm not someone who liked failure. I'm not someone who liked failing, by the way. It's something that never made sense to me. Failing, considering that there's someone who's passing. Why are they passing and I'm failing? We are in this like we're in school. So school, by the way, has a thing that it creates that everyone kinda has the same circumstances. Yeah. Chill here in our campus, whereby you don't know what is going on in someone's background life. But here, I'm with you the whole day for 3 months. Right? The problem is you go through, I kinda close the same problem. So why are you passing and I'm not? Such stories hit me in my head. Right? We're in the same circumstances. We're in a controlled environment. How come some things are working for you and I'm not? So that just always make me want to like perform. Yeah. And also, other things in school, which I used to play basketball. And I played basketball for Turkish school team for junior NBA. I also did cultural dances and all that stuff, MDD stuff. There's a story of how I found myself in Kazakhstan, but that is a very long story. Yeah, but was there for some culture expo whereby I was supposed to perform. But the whole academics thing is that I think I'm someone who always knew what I can do. Like, it just came naturally to me. I don't know if it was just instilled into me that you are bright, but I always knew that, hey, I can actually do this. Nothing can fail me, right? Yeah. Unless I've just allowed. So there are some certain things that I kept on peaking with. Every time I used to fall down, and I will always keep on thanking my parents that they were there for me.
That's a big blessing.
To pick me up. Sometimes it would look like they're not picking you up and you have to pick yourself up, but that was also something that they were doing to help you pick yourself up. Now, like that decision to repeat in Form 5. Because later on when I joined, like when I was in Chitende, we started the math club. The math club had died when we were, like, before we came, there was no math club. But then I met a few colleagues of mine. Some friend of mine is now in India doing electrical engineering. But we were like a group of 4 guys. We went to the HM and told him, like, this guy, Mr. Mulindwa, ED. We went to him and told him we want to start a mathematics club. We want to start shots, right? The members of the club want to make you the head of the club. We make the DOS, the like vice head or something like that. And we start teaching people math, and then also we compete for math contest. Math in Chitende to me was something which always made sense. Like, I was good in mathematics.
Yeah.
So we started teaching people mathematics. We would hold, let me say, like on Saturday afternoon, there are no classes, right? So we would meet in like some resource room. People would come with questions, and we start solving numbers on the board. So that thing gave me confidence. Because I don't think I have always been good as someone who speaks well in public, considering I used to stammer.
I think this is really good.
I used to stammer when I was young, and I still do, even now, while I'm speaking.
I've not noticed.
So, it's a coping mechanism which I had. I used to say like, every time I feel like the word was not coming out, you will now start hearing me saying like a lot, now that I've told you my coping mechanism. So when I was a kid, I used to always be this kid who's speaking and I'm stomping on the ground to say something. In class, I used to fear answering questions because there are some certain letters that I couldn't speak properly, like C. I'll try saying carbon dioxide and it can't come out of my mouth, and I have to first stomp on the ground, say carbon dioxide, and boys to laugh at me. And I started now shrinking into myself, but it's slowly growing me with the confidence I started getting to speak in public and all that stuff. My presentation work, because now I'll be presenting work properly. So it's something which I'm very proud of myself that I've been able to actually conquer.
You too, just from this one.
Yeah, so my parents always told me that I'd always been a talkative person. Someone who's good at speaking, just that there are some things which used to limit me, not like stammering. Yeah, so I think even the stammering goes with time, but it's still there. Okay, for me, I just believe maybe I grew into it. Yeah. So the whole thing of academics, there are a lot of, for me, I believe that in every situation I'm going through, I have to pick something, no matter how like trivial it might be. But if I keep it in the back of my head, I think I've had me saying like. So if I keep it in the back of my head and I create like a mental notebook that every time I'm going through something, just remember these things. So it's something which my dad told me to start doing. So to have your own chill these things of like principles that people put on you, because you're not going through the same circumstances that I've gone through for him to learn those lessons, really right? Yeah. So current experience is actually different. There are some things that cut across, right? That you should actually look out for. But every time you go through something, don't leave without learning a lesson, because now my dad used to say that you are a fool if you don't learn from your downfall, right? It means it will happen again. And if you're beaten twice, then it means you have not learned, like Toyize. Tori Mukula. Yeah, so that thing always keeps on going back in the back of my mind. Everything that you're going through, there's something that it is teaching you. So they be like, there's this thing that I keep on saying, that every good time is a memory. Every bad time is a lesson. So don't look at it as something which is going to be like there permanent. The same way the sun goes up and comes down, your life is just like that. So Just that you can make things easier for yourself if you actually learn from what is going through in your life. So yeah. That's it. That's how I ended up in Stende. I did my Stende, did PCM. I was doing PCM. And
Stroking IT, right?
Yeah, stroking IT.
Mandatory for you guys.
Yeah, mandatory. So I was doing PCM and man, chemistry let me down. And
I started with PCM, stroke end.
yeah. Oof, PCM.
That's why, it didn't work. I failed in first now. Like, no, it's too much. Then I tried
change. Pen.
and then not doing PCB. Man. I really used to like biology, so I could have been like that.
Damn, biology. That's big. Trust me, it's big.
Did that. I felt like I needed to be like a doctor, right? But then I had this whole thing of wanting to be a napster. So I'd seen it in a movie, tech guy. I think it was Italian Job. I don't know if you watched it. So there's a napster, and by then it was like a cool movie in my time. So the napster guy could do the tech thing, and guy is stealing money from the bank. So yeah, Italian Job, right? Guy was stealing money from the bank. So the guy stealing money from the bank could pass all traffic lights, but police couldn't, or whoever was chasing them. Like whenever the rich guy does his thing,
the guy does something
he
and
hacks the government, the system. So I fell in love with that so much, and it informed my whole genuine love to like do computer science. For you, it could have been the math, right? Like from high school, then you're like, okay. No, you said in back.
it was mainly back that changed the trajectory of my life, I think.
What did you want to become? Like,
Civil.
did you really want to be an engineer?
I've always been called an engineer from childhood, by my parents, by my friends, everything. Why? Because it stems back to one story. Sometime when my dad was building some hotel in Luboa, and I told him that I want to design for you the pool. I was a kid, and I was like, "What do you mean you want to design the pool?" I told him, "Just give me time." I went, got my crayons, pencils, and everything. I drew a pool, and I wrote down the amount of things that you need, the amount of sand you need, the amount of bricks you need. I used to go and ask some uncle of mine, he's an engineer. I used to ask him, how much, so like something like this, what do I need? He was like, okay, you need this. He was like, man, why is this kid asking me these questions? I'm writing down the side, then I presented to him the report. I was like, I want the pool to look like this, everything. And I was like, Ojakuba, engineer. So everyone started calling me engineer. Like every time I used to go to the site, engineer. So I realized maybe building is something that I enjoy, and I used to enjoy being at sites. I still do. I just like seeing something going up from the ground and being built. I find it's really interesting for me. So that whole love of engineering, my mom told me that even when you grow up, you can still go back and learn engineering if you want to, because she was like she realized that I really love it. That's why I'm doing software, which I also love now. So I'd always been called an engineer, and I used to focus my whole life
in that field
to do engineering. Even in VAC, I taught myself AutoCAD. Self-taught. I used to design houses. I used to design houses, a full 2-story house with pergolas, everything, and I sent it to my dad. Hey, like I've been able to do this. And I was like, yeah, you do engineering, don't worry, you'll get it. Government lists come out, and I've not been able to make it. Why? Entirely because I got 17 in PCM and I couldn't get civil on government. So he tells me, apply for civil on private, we shall pay. I apply civil, but then the fact that I was doing software, I put it as second. I missed civil on private and they gave me on software, and I was like, maybe this is where my life wants to take me. Because how come...
The government gave you...
Government didn't give me software, it gave me something called physical sciences. I was like, what the hell is even that? I don't even know what that is. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Let me go for the private enrollment, and I apply for civil again, and they still didn't give me civil, right? And they gave me software instead. So I was like, maybe just fate has it that I should do what? Software. Going into software, and actually I love what I'm doing. So that's why I wanted to do civil the whole time. That's why actually I did PCM. Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense for you.
Yeah. So it was a lot of things that lead to that. I think if you look at like I believe now someone like you who has listened to people's backgrounds, I think you'll be seeing that there are different things that make people do or make some certain decisions in life. I believe you have more experience in that.
So and it's why I keep doing it.
Yeah.
So it gets interesting when you tap into people's mind spaces, right? Like raw as they are, and basis is ordinary people having big conversations.
Big conversations.
So you try and make the guest comfortable. So of course people consume it in a way like, okay, no, that was really that person shouldn't have been there on the podcast. The conversation is young, but that is what makes sense to them. Yeah, that's why their mind space is at. And the more you listen to that, you actually really become better at life. So this podcast is more like a self-care thing for me as well. So you become better, you get to relate to people. There are people who brought on that have issues, people fundraising for maybe something that is happening with me. Like the amplification, so you get to the raw story of it.
Listen to different people's stories.
It's crazy.
That is something which I would actually that's something which I actually love enjoying because I love every time I'm speaking to someone, and I'm not a person who finds it hard to make friends.
Yeah.
I easily make friends. Just considering my Twitter space, there are a lot of people who I don't know.
You do a space?
No. No, I don't do spaces okay.
Your circle.
Yeah. There are a lot of people. Okay, I call them Twitter randoms, but they're not really random. Okay, yeah, really yeah, they are randoms. But
you treat them like their companions.
I treat them like their companions, and someone can tell who this. I believe I'm someone who believes that I can tell. Maybe it's a bit naive, but I believe I'm someone who can tell how someone actually is from Twitter, because Twitter is where someone writes what comes out of their head. You can tell some people, and they're like, yo, what type of take is this, man? Like, this is some really biased take, right? And I believe that in my life I can't work with someone like that, so they can't be my friend. So I really find it easy to make friends, and when I make a person my friend, I like to go into deep conversations to get to listen to their story. Why do I like doing this? I like doing this because I believe there's always something to learn, no matter what the person is.
I'll tell you my other story. I am also bred from the street, so I left home at some point.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. Sleeping in the street, like literally.
What?
The whole time COVID comes on the street. So, yeah, women are terrible people, but life in general is so bad. So there's that, and that informs so much of my decisions.
Yeah.
The fact that I could be, because, look, of course, I can't ignore the fact that there's privilege into making such a decision. Because I knew maybe at some point I'll get away, or my dad will get me, or my brothers, or what. But also what you learn from there, from the whole power of understanding that you can lose it all.
Yeah. You just
kind of lose it all and try and reconstruct life like from nothing. Like everything can fail to make sense at some point. Yeah. It's
me, I don't like reading so much. I won't lie to you. I'm not a person who likes reading so much, unless there is a topic which has really caught my eye and I read about it. But I was someone who likes reading, I can call them philosophers, something like that. And there is a quote, I don't remember the person who said it. I'm really bad at remembering names, by the way. So someone can tell me their name and in 2 minutes and I don't remember it. So there was a quote that the ability for someone to actually be able to throw it all away and start from scratch, to start as a new man or as a new woman, is something that it's special for you to be able to rebuild yourself from scratch, to remove all biases and everything, and to be able to rebuild yourself from scratch, right? You see the world from a new lens. It is theoretical, like in my sense, but it is kind of applicable to some certain extent.
Yes, I think I've applied something like that, and it's beautiful. You come out
seeing things differently.
Well, that happens with everyone, right?
Yeah.
Everyone comes to that. You come out cleansed from like the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I really don't give two shits about these cameras and anything, make money about it. But I know that the worst will come to the worst and guys can break in and steal. So what next after that? There's all this air that comes around, so the thoughts come to your mind of videos can actually really do themselves now. What's going to happen to this investment? It's quite huge. This is just small camera, so we put in a lot of money that big. We do music videos, we have cranes and whatnot. We produce movies. We're going all out
Big.
into the tech thing. So, but the business is slow. It's not promising. And the guys that want to give you money. You're going to drink in the bar. You then want to put so much value to it, into what you're doing, and the time you're dedicating towards to it. So all those thoughts come to you. Because of something like that, the power of like detachment, right?
The power of detachment, exactly that.
You know that, oh man, I can wake up to my family. It's the same thing I take when I take a border instead of driving. Say there's no car, and like I keep thinking about it. Okay, what happens now when I'm there?
Those things keep on crossing my mind as well. Like every time I take a border even coming here, like something could have happened on my way here.
But you made it.
But
Are you
I
like a
made it.
believer?
I won't lie, not
You're
very
not sure.
staunch. Not staunch.
Okay.
I have a lot of questions.
Me too.
There are things which I question, and
But I also believe
though
yeah.
this is what I believe in. I believe in chance. Chance in terms of, can call it, it's people's actions.
Yeah.
I consider this world to be a web of actions and consequences. That's what I believe in, right? Like, I'm not this type of person who will be like, that person knocked down the other person, and that's all I see. I like asking myself a question. What happened before that led to this guy knocking this person? What was in their mind? What was their mental state? Had something happened before that person had created from somebody else? So it's a web. I believe that we are a web of interconnected people. I may not be connected to you,
but I believe somehow we are.
but somehow we are.
Yeah.
Because how did we meet here in the first case?
Yeah.
So I believe in chance.
Yeah.
And it's just something which I believe in, that everything happens because of just a bunch of random actions. So, how can I explain it? I wouldn't like to say probabilities, right? But random things happen, and they actually cause us to all be interconnected in some way, right? A robbery happens, and like you don't know what happens after or before that. For you, all you see is the present now. But there are some certain things that might have happened all the way from way back. The people who robbed that place, their childhoods, and that stuff. So, like, I believe that every action has a consequence that can affect a million people, but you don't know how. It might be even subtle, but it has, right? So for me, that's what I believe in. I believe in chance. Like, everything happens because of certain things that have happened before, and that will lead to certain things happening after. But
So
the fact that we are all
more
independent,
things-
the fact that we're all like independent, something that has happened to me, I won't react to it the way someone did. So now that creates a path for like 3 million decisions that you could have made that lead to different things and affect people in different ways. Each of those decisions you make. So for me, like that's what I believe. That's what I believe governs us.
Do you also believe the more things become different, the more that you remain the same?
Well, if we're taking into a perspective like that,
Like history repeating itself.
history repeats itself because man doesn't like change. That's what I believe in.
But change is a constant, man. Like,
Yes,
it's not about what
we
you
need
want.
change, but we don't want it.
Yeah, but it happens.
But it
regardless
happens.
of whether we
Right?
need it or we want it.
And as I believe, as a species, we are really poor at learning from our mistakes. That's why things happen again. That's why history repeats itself, in my belief. Societies have come up and fallen in different areas, but if you had to look at why they fell, some reasons might be similar.
Yeah.
And in the future, people who actually had this information in their to their disposal will still do the same mistakes, and the same thing will happen. So history repeats itself because ideally man is not someone who likes change, and the people who govern the societies, they're also human. And the fact that we don't like change, some things they're bound to happen again and again and again and again and again and again. But progression happens slowly because change has to happen. Change has to happen, but it's not something that we want. That's why we keep on saying, get out of your comfortable zone. Because we don't want to change.
Do you think you have, the grand scale of life, operated out of your comfort zone?
There are times when I've wanted to be in my comfort zone. There are times when I've had to come out of my comfort zone.
Like which times? Can you give me a situation or maybe a presentation you really worked on? Or
well, I can give...
that took you out?
Yesterday I was presenting a project, and the day before that. So, yesterday we presented a real estate management system to our lecturer. He had told us to develop it, and that's all he said. Right? I want a real estate management system. Give me the application document, like the design document, and the application itself. You present it to like tomorrow, which was yesterday. So in my group, we're a group of 4 very good friends of mine, but we became friends actually at school. But in my group, I'm, how can I say it, I'm a person who, like when I'm coding and I find a bug, I will not sleep
until you fix it.
Until I fix it. Not, it will haunt me.
Are you a perfectionist with life in general?
I believe I cannot achieve perfection, right? But the closer I am to it, the better for me. That's what I believe. No one is perfect, but the closer I am to perfection, good enough. I can't be perfect. I cannot produce something perfect.
But you want it to be perfect.
But I want it to be close to perfect. Yeah, so I'm this type of person who's going to code up to 3 a.m. and I'm on a bug. And when I sleep, I dream about it. I keep on telling my friends stories that I've dreamt about solutions to a bug in my sleep. I be thinking the whole time I'm sleeping, but I'm thinking, and an idea comes up, and I wake up immediately. It can be at 4 a.m. and I try it on a laptop and it works. It haunts me, and my mom was like, that's not good for your health, because now when you start working, you won't be sleeping. But I'm like, that's the whole company's at your stake. Yeah, that's, and I'm a person who likes, okay, I want my groupmates, I know I'll give them and they'll watch this, but they they should not. I'm someone who, if something is not working, I'd rather do it myself.
I feel you.
So I can call it a bit of selfishness. I don't know, but if something is failing, I'm like, okay, chill.
It's actually for me hard for me to unless it really works. Until it works, I feel like I'm always in best place to do it myself.
Yes, myself.
But also that branch from how my father brought me up. So most of the times, even when we had access to like maids, the things he just wanted to do himself. He ironed his clothes. He has a wife. He still ironed his shirts by himself, polished his shoes, and washed his car
by himself.
That never changed.
Up to now. You see? For my dad is this person who's going to be at a resort, and he's setting up the campfire for the guests, carrying logs of wood on his back. My dad is 60. How old is Uganda again?
69 now, 65.
Meaning he's turning 69. Uganda is turning 69 this year? Yeah, okay, because he was born in 1968. Yeah, in September. So it's a bit older than the country in terms of independence. Yeah, but this is a person who is turning 69, and it's 7 p.m. The campfire is not yet up. He's going to go and pick logs, carry them on his back, and put them up. This is someone who you're going to see raking in the morning, holding a rake, and he's raking.
Exactly. Now for him,
you would expect someone like that. You'd expect someone to be like that. Someone
has done it all.
He has done it all. He could be living a comfortable life. But this is someone who told me, and I'll never forget what he told me, is that when you have someone working for you, they are more important than you. Without them, you wouldn't be having anything. So he values his staff.
Yeah.
It's like, I work for them. They don't work for me. These are people who can just up and leave. They can up and go.
That's true.
And what will you do? You'll be stuck. You need them.
The whole, yeah. That's
And if you treat them with humility, they become a family. And they now trust you. And they now do more for you. So it's like a mental game. Right?
It's indeed a mental game. Everything
So-
happens in the mind. Yeah.
So these are people who are going to be like, this is my guy. He's my boss, but I see him as a father figure. Some people at the resort do that. And they will put in more work than they actually paid for. But they don't care. Because he sees them as a fellow human being. So he was like, when you see this maid at home or anything, yeah, treat this maid as a human being, right? Like, be as down to earth as possible. Because it's only then that you can see face to face with someone. When you're up there, you're only seeing the top of their head. You're not seeing the full body, meaning you're not seeing the full story. So it's only when you're down here that... So there are some things that he has told me that really drive me, and
Makes sense. They help you make
they
sense
help
of
me
life,
make
right?
sense of life and make better decisions in my life. So
All right. This guy's supposed to give you some drinking water or juice, but Jose, Martin. Okay, what do you think we have not covered that you want to cover?
I actually didn't expect the talk to go like this. I believe it has gone very well.
How did you
Yeah.
expect it to go?
This has been my first
Podcast.
ever.
Yeah.
This is my first podcast ever. So yesterday night I was there thinking, what am I going to say? I was thinking the whole time, what am I going to say? But
What did you plan to say in that time?
I think I've actually touched most of the things I wanted to do. I've given a background story of myself. I've given a few things that I've learned in
What
life. Music?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not someone who...
I saw you. It's in fact still this guy. The song you shared yesterday. It's good music, some love song. This guy, but so the YouTube thing kept just playing his music after. My channels.
Was it James Vickery?
Yeah.
Only you?
Vickery, only
Yes.
So after I listened
So, music-wise, I'm not a person who loves so much of trap music. I love instrumentals. I won't lie to you. Like, when I listen to a song, actually I find it hard to learn lyrics. Why? Because I'm listening to the flow instead. So someone can be speaking, but I'm listening in the background how the instrument's flowing and all that stuff. So I usually like listening to the instruments, to the flow of the song, to the different I can call them harmonics or something like that, right? So the type of music I listen to is something which exactly triggers that in my mind. So I listen to songs which have now like Where's Blood. Listen to Where's Blood. Listen to Cigarettes After Sex. I love that band so much. Pepper Kites. So
Love Pepper Kites, yeah.
I love Pepper Kites. I actually discovered them last year, and so when my replay came out, the Apple Music replay came out, and it told me that I listened to 1,114 different artists last year.
You checked them through.
And I checked them through, and I keep on discovering new music every day. And the music which I keep on sending on my Twitter for people to listen to, or if I found it's a really nice song. I don't really care if someone actually listens to it or not, but it's out there. Let me just put it out there. Yeah, so music-wise, I like more of alternative music. I listen to rock, and tell you because of my older siblings, because they really loved rock music in their time. So when I was young, it's what I was listening to.
I think that's why I am big on hip hop, man.
So they have
My mother
really,
used to listen to a lot of hip hop.
they have shaped my music taste, I think. But later on, as I grow up, I also discover new things that I like. So music-wise, of course, I listen to rap. I like the game.
Yeah, solid.
The game.
Childish rap.
Like the game. J. Cole, Kendrick. Those are for me. Kanye West.
My favorite, I think.
Solid. So solid. So
His
solid.
creativity is
So solid.
I like what he does with the music, really, the production.
Yes.
How, he would get like a song from back then and redo it. He's the only guy that can redo a song and you feel like, okay, this is completely brilliant.
Yeah.
I like Kanye.
I really like Kanye. Because I don't really look at Kanye as a person. I look Kanye at
As a god. That's interesting. He has engineered us socially to believe that. So as I wanted to tell you, by the way, when you said you had very many questions, right? I wanted to tell you, I feel like we need to like believe in something, right? From like a tradition. Because when we don't, we start to believe in just anything.
just anything. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Well,
Most of the times we are then just
lost.
programmed. Not even lost. So we just believe in the state. Like we believe in the news. We believe in. Of course, we try and draw a picture of good and bad from a no perspective point of view, right? So Christianity has some sense of perspective to it, or Islam or what. But whenever we're in the middle, so I'm struggling with that. So that is why I want to pick up on like something I need to like fully focus on.
Well, I be having these conversations with my roommate in hostel. very controversial texts and everything. But there's always that thing of why were we told to leave our different religions that we had behind?
Were we told, or do we just grow up and feel like this shit doesn't work? Like from back then,
like before, like the whole thing of missionaries and stuff.
Yeah.
I believe there are religions which were there, different gods and everything.
Yeah.
Right, that had actually stood the test of time, right? Because had been passed down for different generations, right? What happened that just made us leave and take on Christianity?
They sold us
leave and take on Islam, right?
So I think Christianity sold that civilization.
Yeah. So like, plus Christianity itself has some question marks.
Definitely.
Why? Because it's not perfect, right? It's not perfect.
Yeah, it's
the whole.
You could argue it to be wrong, you know.
Yeah, because I believe I don't. By the way, I strongly detest the whole idea of someone being good entirely because of the religion they believe in.
I've never found anyone good when they're religious.
If you are someone who is good because of the fear of hell, you're not a good person. Like in my books, like I write you off. Honestly, for me personally.
You're just guilt tripping yourself.
Exactly, you're guilt tripping yourself into good. Yeah. So my mom always just ask me.
Is this line Wayne made? If heaven is real, then everything, including us, we as fakers here.
That's something to think about, actually.
Yeah, I actually think about it
perspective.
So much that if the concept they sell us about heaven is actually real, that means everything we live for and believe in is so fake.
It's so fake, yes.
Yeah.
True, actually. That's something I can actually look at. Yeah, that's something I can actually look at and be like, oh, okay. You know, like there are always those things that you hear and you're like,
yeah. Because then it just checks you, like, okay.
It just hits you, like you get like a slap back to reality and you're like, wait. So when my mom told me that, because she always just asked me, like, are you going to church? I'm like, nah. Are you going to church? I'm like, nah. The time when I go to church and I just want to listen to what the father has to say.
You're born Catholic?
Yeah,
okay,
I was born Catholic, and I'm in a strong Catholic family.
Yes, same here. My dad is like...
So my dad is actually like me, honestly, I think.
My dad is a real strong Catholic guy.
He's
just to consult him for some decisions.
He's a go with the flow guy, my dad, but my mom is a bit more religious. So she was like always asking me, and I told her, Mom, I want to live my life trying to be the best person I can be. That's all you should know. That's what
That's
what I stand
kind of
with.
like my mantra as well. Like, I want to be the best version of myself, right?
The best version of myself, the best version to anyone around me, and I'll try my best to build that. Not entirely basing on religion, but just because I just want to be good. Because there is this saying that if you don't believe, why don't you just go around doing bad? That's not the case, right? I don't do bad because I'm conscious. Right? Religion doesn't give me consciousness. No, like I'm born with it. So I can tell what's good and bad. I don't need religion to tell me what's good and bad. Right? So I don't go around doing bad just because I don't have religion. It's because I'm still conscious. I'm still a human being, and every human being has consciousness. So someone can be ultra religious, but they
How
have
do you
different.
develop your consciousness? Do you like meditate? Do you do any of those practices? Are you like a prayer kind of person, but I believe you're not, since you have very many questions?
No, I don't meditate. I don't really meditate. I just,
Exist.
yeah, I think I just exist. Now, a person who always in my own space. Someone can just see me there and but I'm thinking of different things, and that's how I come up with all my different ideologies. So I just be thinking of vast things and make research here and there, because there's nothing as coming up with an ideology without facts, right? So I keep on just making research. There's some people who I listen to and I TikTok. So some guy called Joshua Maponga. Like, I don't know if you know him. It's some Pan-Africanist, but he's always. Of course, when someone is speaking, like, you don't take everything they say. You just speak out a few things, and he speaks some good things out there. Though it's like
But
some of the things
people are selective in that as well.
Yeah.
So to some people they pick out a lot of things, and to some other people they judge them for just this one thing they've said.
Exactly.
To everything else.
No. I don't think I'm that type of.
Is like that.
I don't think I'm that type of person. The whole Andrew Tate story thing, man. Andrew Tate, I can just say he's a sharp person, because he has made money. That whole hustle school thing, bro, that was just a money tactic.
I also, yeah, I'm like you. I don't like to underestimate people who have made money.
So he's sharp, and honestly, if I was ever study something when I stopped studying software engineering, I think I would study psychology.
I missed out on studying psychology at campus.
To understand.
Yeah.
First of all, the thought process of an individual, and after that, the thought process of masses. Because unlike other different insects or anything, we are social beings. So even if we are independent, we still have, I can call it like a hive mind. That's why societies have trends. Right? True. Because we're all going on. So it's like we have a hive mind, though we still have some independence. So I think I would love to study that. Study the art of understanding how someone thinks independently and how society works as a mass, the thought process behind society as a mass. Because with that, you can be able to understand how to, in a business perspective, how some things, like, you can be able to understand how a certain idea will land or not. Because you understand how this person thinks. I believe people who come up with like business strategies are very good psychologists, naturally. Even if you didn't study psychology, you are good at understanding people. And one of the best.
I think that's what it takes. Even just marketing strategies.
Yes.
You have to really understand.
You have to really understand the mind of someone. You have to understand the mind so deep that you.
I think that's what these applications do, right?
Yeah. You have to understand the mind so deep that you understand how different colors affect different people's thinking perspective. You have to understand how different shapes. A button is sharp on the edges. It's a bit off. Why do people think like that, right? People want something smoother. People want something round. Why? So understanding that is really something which I would actually love to learn. And maybe if everything works out, it's something which I'll add onto my, I'll add like a degree or something like that. It's the whole thing of psychology. Because I was going to talk about something, but I think I've forgotten. I was going to talk about it has skipped my mind right now. It was run, but yeah, but it will come back. So I would like to learn that. I would like to learn how people understand what goes through someone's mind when they see something, Yeah.
So do
So
you think it's instead of learning psychology, it's better to do data science?
data science, or to use actual data to make decisions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Big and small
Yeah.
data.
Yeah.
It's
True.
something also like
Because companies run on that.
everything,
And
like
everything runs on that. Everything runs on data.
Facebook sells that to the advertisers that look that all these people have just seen. This is how they behave online. This is what sells to them. This is what they are talking about. This is the actual time you can put your ad for this person.
Now you have actually brought back something I wanted to talk about. One of the other projects, the ideas that I had was to make a model. It's like a visual model. But if I'm able to put cameras or to use the different cameras of the roads, right, and feed that data into an AI model, right, you can be able to tell peak time. Like it measures
But
peak time or in.
the traffic lights should be in position to do that right now, right? There's a model that does.
There must be a model that does that.
There's when they put wires in the road and they count the cars.
And they count the cars. Yes.
And
Because
the rate at which they're passing.
yes, and the rate at which they're passing.
There's that model.
Because I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw them doing that. But then there's also another one whereby you can just draw a line in your model, and whatever crosses that line means has crossed that road, rather than putting actual physical wires.
Oh yeah, the camera thing though makes sense with the traffic lights.
Yeah.
Every to measure peak.
Peak
like
time.
flow,
What would be the best time for?
calculate the road. Inform Google Maps in time on where there's like peak traffic.
This was like something which I had to do like for myself. I put like a camera close to like my neighborhood and know when's the best time to leave for work, so that I don't be caught up in jam. It's something which I want to do for myself. Like I just put the camera there, let it measure the feed into my my model, and it tells me that hey, 8:14 cars have started piling up. So leave at 7 something. Yeah, so I don't catch myself in jam every time. Because I do take. Why shouldn't I make my life easier for myself,
and that should
right?
be the thing, really. Yeah, we should be developing concepts to make our lives, our day-to-day life easier.
Yeah. So
I think that's it. Really, thank you for coming to the podcast, man.
thank you very much.
This has been great.
Thank you.
I will definitely have you on whenever you have like projects. We discuss them.
Oh, yeah.
Put them to the world. Or whenever you have something to.
Thanks a lot. This has been really good. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.